National Broadcasting Company presents the National Football League. Today from Giant Stadium, it's the Kansas City Chiefs versus the New York Giants. Brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Budweiser, Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. And by AT&T, the right choice.
Quarterback Phil Simms is the man who leads the Giant offense. 2 more wins and the Giants take the NFC East. On defense, the Giants are ignited by the great Lawrence Taylor, a linebacker who can dominate a game. Last week, Joe Morris had his best game as a rusher, 122 yards. He has to keep running well for the Giants to contend. Kansas City's offense is built around quarterback Steve DeBerg. The Chiefs have won 3 of their last 4. His play at QB has been the difference. On defense, safety Deron Cherry is having another all-pro season. He leads Kansas City in interceptions, in fumble recoveries, and in tackles. It is a clear, sunny December day at Giant Stadium in the Meadowlands of New Jersey. And today, the Giants will find out a lot more about how legit they are as a Super Bowl contender. Good afternoon, everyone. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. The Giants are coming off their most impressive win this season. They blew out Phoenix 44-7 last Sunday. But it was the first time this year, Trump, they've been consistent in every aspect.
Yeah, Don, I think that's the big problem. Can they run the ball? They average 3.2 yards per rush and 95 yards a game. And frankly, to be alive in the playoffs for a long time, that ain't good enough.
Kansas City has big problems. The Giants aren't sure if they're a contender. Kansas City's not sure what they are. The place is in disarray right now.
You're right. These players and coaches probably feel like Dorothy and Toto and the Wizard of Oz. They don't know where this franchise is going.
Right now, at the midfield, they're ready for the toss of the coin. The playoff picture is one that the Giants are in beautiful position in if they continue to win. But Philadelphia's victory yesterday at Phoenix, a 23-17 victory over the Cardinals, elevates the Eagles to within just a half game of the Giants. And, of course, Philadelphia in head-to-head competition has beaten the Giants twice this season. So the Giants really have to win their last 2. And if they do, they will be NFC Eastern Division champions. The Chiefs and the Giants have not played since 1984. When they had a shootout here at Giant Stadium. Coach Parcells' Giants won that day, 28-27. I saw Bill Parcells shortly before the game. The wind here is very much a concern of his. Bill Parcells said the wind can play tricks on teams that even are here on a regular basis. And Frank Gans, the Kansas City coach, said, we can't beat this team unless we run the ball. Nobody's going to throw it consistently in this, with chill factors down close to 0 at game time.
Road record by the Kansas City Chiefs, 0-8 in 1988. One of the big problems that Kansas City has historically had. And you're right about the win at Giant Stadium. The Giants 8-0 in Giant Stadium in the month of December, but they won the toss and took the ball. So Bill Parcells considers this win to be an acceptable win.
Ready to kick it off is Nick Lowry, and this kickoff is brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. Back deep for the Giants to anticipate the Lowry kickoff are Neil Gugamos and Wayne Haddox. Standing at the goal line. It's a swirling wind here at Giant Stadium. It's ironic how it works. The flags are straight out blowing towards Nick Lowry, and yet on the field the wind is behind him. Flags high above the stadium. So we're set to go as Nick Lowry approaches the ball and hits a high spinner downfield. It's going to carry short. Neil Gugamos takes the ball across the 20, and he'll get to the 37-38-yard line. So the wind indeed held up that kick. It's an unpredictable wind. A return of 23 yards by Gugamos, and so now Phil Simms and the Giant offense come out in very good field position to open the game. Carthon's a blocker. Has scored only 1 touchdown in 5 years, but he hits like an offensive tackle. He leads Joe Morris. Newcomers in the offensive line playing very well. A huge tackle from Michigan, Elliott. The #1 draft choice from Indiana, Eric Moore, is at right guard. For the run they go into Joe Morris as the Chiefs, with their linebackers shooting the gaps, make the stop. Nose tackle Jerome Sally, a former Giant, was the first hitter there. Leonard Griffin and Mike Bell on either side of Jerome Sally. Linebacking core hit by injuries. Angelo Snipes and Tim Cofield start outside. Aaron Pearson is in the inside now for the injured Dino Hackett. A very good secondary, although J.C. Pearson starts at left corner for injured Albert Lewis. Second down and about 6 for the Giants. Back to Joe Morris. He gets some more and very close to a first down. Aaron Pearson, inside backer, number 96, got him. With the Giants firing off the left side, they had that huge tackle there, Trump and John Elliott.
That was a 7-yard gain by Joe Morris. These 3 young guys they got starting on the offensive line. Elliott, the kid out of Michigan, making just his 2nd start at left tackle. This is the 10th. Last week was the 10th offensive line combination that Bill Parcells and the Giants have used. And this whole offense is built around Joe Morris and his ability to run the ball. He came into the game with a 3.2-yard average.
Hand off to Morris, and they get some more. They're just firing out at Kansas City. The Giants getting the good field position off the opening kickoff. Now run the ball. Joe Morris, and then Joe Morris some more. Frank Gann said, Trump, the Giants do very few things on offense. They do them well and consistently.
That was an 8-yard pickup. Again, it's just man-on-man blocking. They have huge offensive line men up front there. Jumbo Elliott, 305 pounds. Ard, about 275 or 280. And Joe Morris is a fullback. He plays the running back spot, but he is a fullback in this offense.
Lloyd Burris finally knocked him down. Here is Joe Morris on the run. On 2nd down and 2, the Giants busted into the left side of Kansas City's defense. A gain of some 6 yards and a first down. Aaron Pearson on the stop again.
Now, this game is so simple to win. Control the line of scrimmage. But unfortunately, it's very, very difficult when you have a defense that moves around. The advantage that the New York Giants have today, Don, is Kansas City defense very, very standard. There's not a lot of moving around. You see an excellent block by 44 Carthan on the outside linebacker. And then Joe Morris, another 7-yard pickup.
The Giants haven't put it up yet in this opening drive, and they go back to Joe Morris. Leading the way is Moore, and Joe Morris on a 1st and 10 carry crashes down to the 30-yard line. Lloyd Burris, who's been out injured, back now and playing well, but he's making tackles in the secondary. The Giants pounding the ball at Kansas City with consistency.
This game opens with Joe Morris to the left, Joe Morris to the right. This time a sweep. He's led out there by Eric Moore, another young man. Excellent blocking out front. Very, very easy to understand. When this offensive line functions, the Giants are an excellent offensive team.
Joe Morris has run the ball on 5 straight plays and now 6. So the game plan is not complicated, but it surely is effective. As on 2nd down and less than 3, Joe Morris cracks ahead for very close to a first down yardage pickup. Gary Carson on the sideline in the golf cap. Coach Parcells pacing the sideline. The Giants really want to establish that run, and they've done it. As Gary Carson looks on.
Now, what this does to Kansas City now is the Giants are telling Kansas City, we're not here to patty cake with you. We're going to fire right at you all day long. And his opening drive setting the tone for the rest of the day.
KC, as you see, last in the NFL against the rush. Joe Morris leads back. Carson blasts back a linebacker. And on a 1st and 10 play, Joe Morris takes it down to the 21-yard line of the Chiefs. For defensive end Leonard Griffin from Grambling, number 98, made the knockdown. Gain of 5.
Last week, Morris had 32 carries. Good pull by Billy Ard. He's on 34 Burris. And Morris, not a tricky running back. He runs to the spot. If that initial block is made, and then Joe Morris is up through the line of scrimmage, and that's where he makes tacklers miss. Watch him right on the hip of Ard. That's up underneath there. Excellent 5-yard pickup.
2nd down and 5. Back to Joe Morris. Bart Oates blocking very well on his former teammate Jerome Sally. Very little gain that time. Chiefs shut it down. Mike Bell and Tim Cofield combined on the stop. Bart Oates was a USFL All-Star player, a 280-pound center from BYU.
Now, this is the kind of game that offensive linemen love, because now the offensive line is attacking. Generally, when you have a ball game where you throw a lot, then the offensive line is considered passive. But here you can beat up that defensive line of scrimmage.
Down in this area of the field on Friday at their closed practice, the Giants were working intently on a short passing game to the tight end. Phil Simms looked unbelievable. Here's Simms throwing downfield. He goes for Ingram and can't get the ball to him at the 9-yard line. Walker comes in late now. And Kevin Ross is protesting. We'll see who the call goes against. It appears Trump against KC.
Yeah, it was not on the intended receiver. Kevin Ross was covering the receiver down the middle of the field. It looked like it was Stephen Baker that Kevin Ross grabbed a hold of.
Holding defense, 5 yards and first down.
Jim Tunney, the referee. Giants controlling the ball and the clock. First quarter now has 9:42 to play. All this coming off the opening drive. No score yet.
Now they're running a delay here. But watch Baker go up the field, and that's more than 5 yards down the field. And Kevin Ross got a hold of him all over the place. That's why they throw the flag.
Harfan and Morris. The setbacks. There is a draw to Joe Morris. The slide draw the Giants like so well. A first down carry is good from the 15 down close to the 12-yard line. Angelo Snipes, an outside linebacker from West Georgia. 52 made the tackle. Giants got a 23-yard return on the opening kickoff, which was short into the wind, and they have subsequently driven the ball downfield. Only one pass in this drive. It was incomplete. Second down and 7 coming up now. Jill Tactor close to 0. Play fake. They fake to Morris. Pattern. Mark Bavaro. Touchdown Giants. They were so sharp working on this on Friday. They stressed the throw to Bavaro and to Moat. And Simms on target. The opening drive, and the Giants look very much like a Super Bowl contender, just blowing away Kansas City off the line of scrimmage. And finally, on the payoff end, Simms to his all-pro tight end, Mark Bavaro.
His third touchdown catch. It's linebacker coverage. Burris on the outside. You see 96 Pearson on the inside. That was a good play-action fake by Phil Simms. Just held the linebackers for an instant.
McFadden, a barefoot kicker on this freezing day, hits the extra point up and good. With 9 minutes to play in the first quarter, the Giants lead 7-0.
Now watch Bavaro and watch Pearson, the linebacker, 96. You just see the bottom of it. He's got to stand there and respect the run. And then Mark Bavaro gets behind him. This is a beautifully thrown ball by Phil Simms and a spectacular catch for the opening score of the game.
So the Giants take it right down the field and take a 7-0 lead. They'll kick it off in a moment. Back to live action. A short kickoff into the wind is fielded by an up back for Kansas City, Byron Ingram, and he takes it to the 34-yard line. So the Chiefs, trailing 7-0, will start in fairly good field position. As we check the scoreboard around the National Football League on Sunday, number 15, big one at the Astrodome, the Bengals and the Oilers. Nothing up on the board so far in those early games. Raiders playing in brutal temperatures in Buffalo. Wind, possible snow squalls there. Somebody said Trump had to get the Raiders off the plane at gunpoint. First down and 10, Kansas City, trailing 7-0 to the Giants after the Giants' opening 61-yard drive. Throw and a catch to the tight end. Jonathan Hayes takes it down, and linebacker Gary Reasons makes the play on defense. They don't go to their tight ends often. That time it was good for an 11-yard gain.
Well, one thing the Chiefs like to use is the very short intermediate routes. There you see Hayes running the pattern right in front of Gary Reasons, 55. Good pass protection that time. The big assignment today, John Alt, 76, near side tackle on LT.
To the run. Here comes Herman Hurd with a guard in front of him, and Hurd breaks it and is almost into open field. On a 1st and 10 carry, Herman Hurd takes the ball across midfield and down to the Giant 44-yard line. Steve Bird at QB with his starting runners James Saxon and Herman Hurd. Christian Okoye out with a broken hand, the 255-pound fullback. Carson and Page, the wide receivers, are excellent. And the offensive line has allowed 1 sack in the last 4 games, none in the last 3. They've really tightened up. Alt and Eatman have been standouts at tackle. On 1st and 10, they bring Carson in motion, hand to the up back end. Saxon breaks it. Some very good up front trap blocking by Kansas City as they broke open the Giant front 3. That was good for an 8-yard gain. Eric Dorsey, Jim Burton, and Leonard Marshall across the front of the Giants. Banks and Taylor, the outside backers, Pro Bowl players. Johnson and Reasons, the inside linebackers. Sheldon White, a rookie, starts at left corner. The Giants' best cornerback, Mark Collins, is out for the season following surgery to correct a hernia condition. Pitch back. Herman Hurd, stopped in the backfield by the gifted Lawrence Taylor. As Parcells said of Taylor, Trump, he lifts our whole team. The intensity of his play brings everybody to a higher level.
Now, Jonathan Hayes is the tight end trying to block LT. That's a job nobody wants. He fights everybody off to make the tackle for a loss of 3 yards. Generally, what teams try to do is identify where Lawrence Taylor is, assign a man to him, but run away from him. You can't expect the tight end to block Lawrence Taylor.
3rd down and a long 4 coming up now for Kansas City.
You see DeBerg identifying players to his offensive line.
DeBerg going deep. He's got a long ball man open, but he can't get to it. And so the Chiefs come up empty on 3rd down and 4. Stephon Page, who's having a big year with 54 catches, 7 for touchdowns, was the man running deep. But the pressure was on DeBerg, and he had to unload quickly.
Wayne Haddock's the man in coverage, and as soon as DeBerg throws it, he knows it's too far. He's with the wind, and that ball tends to sail when you're throwing it with the wind. But good protection. They tried to blitz him and couldn't get to him.
But now the Chiefs drive stalls, and trailing 7-0, they must punt the ball to the Giants. Kelly Goodburn ready to hit it. There's McConkey back for the Giants. Angled punt near sideline. Mutt caught a tailwind, and Karams out of bounds into the stands. And we'll see where they mark it out. Official moving upfield. He'll put it at the 18-yard line. So the Giants, who ran the ball down the field 61 yards and finally hit on the scoring play with a touchdown throw. Sims to Bavaro will have the ball when we come back. Guys dressed for the weather anyway. Temperature was 3 degrees chill factor at kickoff time, and it hasn't gotten any warmer.
No, it has not.
Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy, Giant Stadium in the Meadowlands of New Jersey. Giants coming off a 10-play drive that took them into the end zone. And now Sims goes right back to the big play, the Joe Morris straight-ahead run. It carried them down the field the first time before Sims hit Mark Bavaro for the touchdown. Angelo Snipes and Leonard Griffin stopped Joe Morris, who's getting a lot of work early.
He is the entire rushing offense to this point. The Giants in that scoring drive ran it 9 times, threw it once to score.
Lionel Manuel comes to the near side. Strength of the KC defense is its secondary. Linebacking core is young because of injuries. Here's Carthon getting a carry, not much room to go as Tom Thorpe in at nose tackle knocked him down. Number 71, he's come in for Jerome Sally, who's being blown off the line. Game clock shows 5 minutes and 14 seconds to play in the first quarter. Buffalo has taken a 7-0 lead on the Raiders.
That may be a blowout up there. I don't know that the Raiders like to play in the kind of weather that they got in Rich Stadium this afternoon.
Buffalo Bills working hard to get home ice advantage in the playoffs.
Shame on you.
Phil Sims against a blitz, dumps it off, and it's incomplete to George Adams as Kansas City sent the whole football team after Phil Sims. He's seen it all, though. Once Parcells and the Giants were able to get the pass blocking together for him and keep him out of the hospital, he's been as good as anybody in the league.
Yeah, there was a period of time in 85 and 86 where he started lifting weights and did not miss a play for 2 seasons.
Played regularly since '84. Not coincidentally, the Giants have been a playoff team 3 of the 4 years since. Now at the Giant drive, stalling. Maury Buford's in the game to punt. Big rush. Chiefs specialize in going after those punts and kicks to block him. Kit Taylor picks it up, and he's out of bounds at about the 39-yard line. Adrian White down to cover. So after an opening drive that was resulted in a touchdown, Kansas City now stops the Giants. The Chiefs go on 1st and 10. Long ball throw downfield. Going for it is Carlos Carson, and beautifully done on defense by the rookie Sheldon White, who almost picked it off. Had gone deep on White twice now, and that won't be the last you'll see of those wideouts.
Don, but when DeBerg threw that first long pass that was incomplete and over his head, he took something off this one. The receiver, Carlos Carson, was way past Sheldon White. DeBerg just took a little off. Sheldon White able to catch up with it. Carson is open, and then the underthrown ball, he's got to come back for it. Nice play, Sheldon White.
The Giants start their top 3 draft choices of last April. End off, Herman Hurd. Not a big back, but a very quick one, and he looks for the open gap and gets the ball out on a 2nd and 10 play for a gain of about 4 yards out to the 43-yard line, where Eric Dorsey, defensive end, knocked him down. That's what they're contending with. Flags are straight out. And it's cold. Chill factor probably below 0 now. It'll get worse. 3rd down and 7 arises now for the Kansas City Chiefs. Giants lead the game 7-0. 3 wide receivers in a shotgun formation. They rush with 4. Long ball. Carlos Carson. And it's separated from him by cornerback Terry Williams. So DeBerg tries to hit deep twice in that series and comes up empty. And so the Giants will get it back on a Kansas City punt.
Don, there is no question that this stadium is one of the most difficult to play in late in the year. The wind plays havoc with the football. At times, it's almost like a wiffle ball. Quarterbacks become so frustrated that they're overthrowing receivers, underthrowing receivers, and it's basically because of the wind. It's not DeBerg.
Bill McConkey's back deep, ready for Kelly Goodburn's punt. Spiral into the wind. McConkey will fair catch the ball right at the 20. They'll spot it at the 21-yard line, so the Giants get their 3rd possession there. It was a 36-yard punt. Sims brings out the Giant offense as they continue to lead the game 7-0.
Next weekend, the NFL plays here.
Saturday, the Patriots march into Denver to battle the Broncos as 2 playoff contenders square off in a must-win game.
Then Sunday, it's a do-or-die showdown in the AFC's Wild West when the Seahawks battle the LA Raiders.
Before your team takes the field, our team hits the air. NFL Live.
It's 90 degrees and sunny in Nigeria today, where Christian Okoye comes from. This is what he didn't come over here for this, but he's been a tremendous football player. Out with a broken hand. He suffered on the last play of the game last week when the Chiefs came from behind to beat the Jets. Joe Morris, all day long, gets another carry with that stutter step move. He darts ahead and gets across the 25-yard line. 7-0 Giants here in the Meadowlands. Now let's go to NFL Live.
All right, Don, Christian Okoye looking a good deal like Mort in the old Bazooka Joe comics. But enough about that. Here's Rob Riddick diving over the pile for a Buffalo touchdown on 4th and goal. They get in against the Raiders, capping a 15-play, 80-yard drive. The Bills trying to snap a 2-game losing streak, leads 7-0. Don.
Thank you, Bob Costas. Here at the Meadowlands, we have 2 minutes and 57 seconds to go first quarter. The Giants running the ball well on their opening drive and taking a 7-0 lead. Joe Morris getting another carry, and he's out to the 29-yard line on a 2nd down and 4 play, a gain of about 2 yards. Aaron Pearson, an inside linebacker, got him. Joe Morris has that great ability, Trump, to shift gears and change direction.
But he needs that first block. That's the one thing that Joe Morris needs. Now here's Jerome Salley on the nose. Watch the left guard. Ard cut at his legs. They're trying to cut down the pursuit to give Joe Morris a chance to cut back if possible. And that time, Aaron Pearson right at the point of attack. Good tackle. This running game now is slowed down a little bit. Kansas City's making slight adjustments, moving their guys just a little bit off the nose.
3rd down and 2 for the Giants. Morris, he might not have gotten there, as the Chiefs again shot their linebackers into the gaps. Knockdowns made at the 30, and they had to get across the 30, so the Giants are sending out their punting team.
Let's give credit to Mike Bell. Right down there on the ground, submarined underneath the tackle. He was there to give Joe Morris no opportunity to run whatsoever, and I think they're going to measure, Don.
That stops the clock with 1:59 to go in the first quarter.
Short.
Going to go for it. No, they're not. They're going to keep. Punter stays out. Green Bay has gone up 7-0 on Minnesota in the first quarter. Kitrick Taylor back deep for the Kansas City Chiefs, standing at his 39-yard line.
Chiefs 10 guys up. Why not block a punt?
Giants get a first down. Any contact. Big hit downfield by Buford. They got back in time, the Chiefs. There's no flag. But Kitrick Taylor has a problem right now as he's swept under by a wave of special teams tacklers. One area of the Giants that has been consistent all season, the special teams play. The punt was 43 yards, a return of 5. The Vikings have been the best team in the NFL over the past 5 weeks. Their defense the last 3 games has outscored the other team's offense. Dallas with a 3-point lead over Washington at RFK. The Chiefs have gone long on first down. Their last 2 possessions haven't made a hit. Now they go to the run. And Herman Hurd fights hard on a 1st and 10 carry out to the 34-yard line. Pepper Johnson and Jim Burt made the stop. Sluggo Burt.
This Kansas City offense has made a major turnaround. In its first 10 games of the season, they averaged 270 yards total per game. In their last 4, 395. Hurd, of course, a very underrated player in the NFL, but has got that nice forward body lean. Doesn't have the foot speed, but he's a tough running back.
2nd down and 7. Draw play goes to Saxon, and the rookie runner is out to the 40-yard line. He'll be less than 2 yards from a first down. Brings up 3rd down and less than 2. His rookie corner Sheldon White, 39, knocked him down.
So far, before this game down, we were wondering exactly how Kansas City would take all of the disruptions last week with the general manager being let go, the president being kicked upstairs. Kansas City playing very, very well with a lot of emotion to this point.
Yeah, they've been intense. Giant defense can't hold as on 3rd down and just over a yard. They go to Saxon, and he cracks in for the first down, a 4-yard gain. Strong safety Kenny Hill made the knockdown, so the Chiefs get 4 new downs, trailing in the game 7-0.
Good lead block up front of Saxon. Nice push on the right side of the offense. That's a big offensive line. You can see that Larry Moriarty, 32, just picked up by the Kansas City Chiefs when Okoye got hurt. Good lead blocker in there. First down pickup as the quarter ends.
That will do it for the first 15 minutes of play. The Giants open the game with a 61-yard 10-play drive. Sims to Bavaro on the payoff end, and they lead 7-0. Need those hot seats today at Giant Stadium. Chill factor probably below 0. It was 3 degrees at kickoff time. Temperature about 20 with gusting wind. Very strong winds. Passing game has been very limited. The one connection, Sims with that throw to Bavaro for the touchdown. Here's another one now for Kansas City. A second catch for Jonathan Hayes. 7-yard gain. He came in with only 13 receptions this season.
Kansas City doing a nice job of running a lot of different looks on offense. Hayes comes in motion, just runs the drag pattern. The other option on that play is the slant to the wide receiver outside. Terry Kennard, Lawrence Taylor get Jonathan Hayes out of bounds. Second and about 2.
The Chiefs are 4-9-1, as you know, Trump, but they specialize in close games. All 14 of their games have been decided by a touchdown or less. Among their 9 losses, 3 one-point losses. 2 of them touchdowns were called back in. Here's a straight-ahead go on a 2nd and 3 play. And Saxon gets another call up the middle and gets to the Giant 45-yard line. He has a first down.
Jerry Reasons finally makes the tackle. This Chiefs offensive line, since they inserted Jerry Ferry at center, the guy that got on waivers from Philadelphia, has played very, very well.
He's really tied together the run game. Herman Hurd goes wide now. Giants trying to sort it out, and Reasons makes a big play as he eluded that cordon of blockers in front of the ball carrier and made the tackle. Reasons the first hitter, Hill was the second.
First quarter numbers, it looks like neither team is going to take a real chance and try to throw the ball down the field a great deal, relying on the run. I think all those rushing yards by the Giants are by Joe Morris.
So no gain, and it's 2nd down and 10 for Kansas City. Chiefs trail 7-0. Early in the second quarter, 13:50 to play in the half. DeBerg looking deep, throws over the middle, and he was hit just as he released the ball, incomplete. Eric Dorsey, number 77, a number 1 draft choice out of Notre Dame in 1986. Put the heat on DeBerg as the players start up after the play.
Jerry Ferry got decked. I think Leonard Marshall thought the ball was intercepted, and he laid a block on Jerry Ferry and put him on his backside. And you can see the hand up by Dorsey knocks the ball away. So 3rd down and 10 now against this wind. This is not the situation that Kansas City and DeBerg wants to be in.
They go to the shotgun. Parcells, the Giant coach, has lamented the fact he doesn't think his crowd is loud enough. They were there as DeBerg has a problem calling the shotgun snap and calls a timeout.
Charge, timeout, Kansas City, that's number 1.
Steve DeBerg was very upset, I believe, at the 30-second clock. Said they started it too early, so he takes the timeout.
It still stands 7-0. The Giants leading the Kansas City Chiefs on a bitter cold day here. Trump, what do you think the chances are of a complete turnover in the Kansas City coaching staff now that the president's left and the general manager has?
Ron, I think it's a very tough decision for Lamar Hunt because this offense over the last 3 weeks has been very, very efficient. And basically it'd be the 4th offense to learn in the last 4 years. I don't know how smart that would be. That's a free play for Kansas City.
DeBerg throws, and Saxon can't find the handle. The rookie running back.
Lawrence Taylor was offside. Steve DeBerg doing a good job of trying to draw the defense.
Taylor came in as the 2nd leading sacker in the NFL with 13.5.
Offside, defense, number 56.
He left early on that play. Reggie White of the Eagles. I believe he had 2 yesterday. That gives him 16 for the season.
You can see Bill Parcells not happy. Quarterbacks cannot be trusted with the snap count.
3rd down and 5 for Kansas City. Crowd starts up again. Motion in the backfield. That's an errant play by the Chiefs as Herman Hurd started to pick. He was moving across to pick up Lawrence Taylor. The Chiefs are very aware of Taylor's great ability to come to the opposite side. He comes from behind the line of scrimmage and down the line. So they're going to try to jam him up with a running back or a wide receiver coming back just to get in his way. That was what Hurd was doing there, but he left early.
Well, you can see 21 goes in motion. That's legal. But when that second guy moves in motion, now we're talking illegal.
That's why he's going.
Along with the left tackle, Alt, everybody was moving. Very tough to run a shotgun in this stadium.
So a tough turn of events for the Chiefs. From 2nd and 5, they go to 3rd down and 10. DeBerg gets time, and he makes the connection to Emil Harry, who drops the ball. Emil Harry, a free agent from Stanford who's made some very big catches. Can't hold it on that one, and so the Chiefs again send out their punter, Kelly Goodburn.
That was very catchable. But again, in this stadium, that ball tends to knuckle a little bit. Looks like a wiffle ball, and as a receiver, you really have to concentrate on it. 2 drops in that sequence, Trump. Saxon had one and Harry had one, and now Goodburn steps into the ball. Held up in the wind, McConkey will let it hop. The Giants will have the long field to go now as the ball is downed at the 11-yard line. So it stands 7-0 Giants in the second quarter. Now to NFL Live. Bob?
All right, Don. Buffalo was tied by the Raiders when Steve Smith went over from a yard out to cap a 71-yard drive. But seconds ago, Thurman Thomas scored for Buffalo, so change that. It's 13-7 pending the extra point. Meanwhile, in the House of Pain, here's Mike Rozier, who's had a big first quarter, 48 yards rushing for the quarter, 13 on that play, bowling over Solomon Wilcox in the process. 7-0 Oilers over the Bengals.
Thank you, Bob. Right now, the Giants, who scored on their opening drive, a 10-play, 61-yard drive, have not moved the ball consistently since. Sims looking on first down, throws the out pattern, and the ball is dropped this time by Maurice Carthon, who's been a good receiver. Maurice was a happy man a week ago when he scored a touchdown. The first touchdown he scored for the Giants in 5 years with the team.
Just 5 years, huh?
He didn't get a lot of action down there. He leads the way into the end zone. Houston continuing to lead Cincinnati. Chicago with a 3-0 lead on Detroit. Vikings and the Packers must be beautiful in Green Bay today. Bob pointed out, Raiders have tied up the Bills at Buffalo. Sims on 2nd and 10. And the ball is slapped down at the line of scrimmage. And a penalty marker's down.
Looked like Leonard Griffin got his hand up.
Flag will be picked up. Ball was tipped by the defense. 3rd down.
They're not getting a great deal of pressure, but you'll see in the left-hand side of the picture, you should see Leonard Griffin just get his hand up. That's Mike Bell. I take it back, 99, not 98. Gets his hand up, knocks the ball away. Oh. Giant offense now slowed down considerably. 3rd and 10. Stacy Robinson comes into the ball game.
He's been a productive pass catcher. Has 6 receptions this season with Robinson, 3 for touchdowns. 3rd down and 10 Giants. Sims stands tall and fires against the rush, but it's well short of the first down as Mark Ingram on an underneath pattern gets the ball at the 17-yard line, a gain of only 6.
Ron Cherry on the coverage zone by the Kansas City Chiefs. They're going to cover. You see Deron Cherry just sitting there waiting for that receiver to come across the middle. They'll give the reception and keep him short of that first down.
Neil Smith in on the last play as a booming punt is hit downfield by Buford. Yet Rick Taylor will run it back, and he crosses the 35-yard line and goes out of bounds at about the 38. George Adams ran him out. So the Chiefs send their offense back out as they take the Giant-O off the field, 3 downs and out. That 55-yard punt by Maury Buford of the Giants was just negated. Somebody was downfield early, a penalty marker, so now he must hit it from around his goal line. Chiefs could come out of this with very good field position. Strong gusting winds on a very cold day in the Meadowlands of New Jersey, nearby to New York City. As the Giants, team looking to win its last 2 games and then take the division, being pressured by the Eagles, who won yesterday and are only a half game back. Buford hits a knuckleball, and that'll carry out of bounds inside the 45-yard line of the Giants.
Boy, that penalty expensive. That cost the Giants about 35 yards.
And a mark at the 40. But so far, Kansas City's offense has had virtually no success moving the ball on the Giants other than the opening drive. The punt was just 29 yards. So Steve DeBerg and the Chiefs offense is back on the field to try again as Buford takes a seat.
Today's game is brought to you by Honda, who invites you to test drive the Civic 4-door at your local Honda dealership today. By Citizen, no other watch expresses time as beautifully. And by Radio Shack, the technology store, America's leader in consumer electronics.
With Bob Trumpy, this is Don Criqui. Chiefs trail the Giants. 7-0 second quarter, first down carry. And Herman Hurd bounces outside. In pursuit is Sheldon White, who pushes him out of bounds. Eric Dorsey missed a tackle. An 8-yard gain on the play. January 22nd, the biggest day in football in the NFL, Super Bowl 23, coming up from Joe Robbie Stadium. It leads off with NFL Live in this Super Bowl feature, the Talent Challenge, as each of the 28 National Football League teams will select a member who has a talent other than on the gridiron. Singers, dancers, magicians maybe. Steve DeBerg is one of those. A blue ribbon panel will select the best, and they'll go to perform on Super Sunday on NBC. Blue ribbon panel, people being considered for it, people like Johnny Carson, Jay Leno, David Letterman, Bill Cosby, the fabled Imus in the morning, if he's out there.
Back at the football game, you watch the center, Perry, do an excellent job. Saxon up through the middle on the previous play. Nice bounce by Herman Hurd to the outside. Kansas City with great field position here.
First and 10 for the Chiefs. They trail 7-0. Herman Hurd with a good cutback move, and what a stick. Giants have the ball. Now the big-time defense of the Giants rises up and frees the ball. Looked like Eric Howard came up with a football. We'll have to see who made the stick. What a play.
Don, I think it was Eric Dorsey, 77, who just stuck his arm out there. Watch this sweep. You see Saxon on the lead, 77. Oh, it's going to be Marshall. 70 Marshall puts his hand in there and just knocks the ball away. It's on the ground, falls right to Eric Howard. Giants ball.
So the Giants now get the first turnover of the game as they continue to lead 7-0. They scored on the opening drive. Sims to Bavaro. The wind is unbelievable as Sims takes a deep look, and the ball is intercepted. It's picked up by Tim Cofield, an outside linebacker. And so on consecutive plays, the ball turns back over to the Chiefs.
Don, this is about the third time that Bill Sims has had the ball tipped at the line of scrimmage. Now, I can't tell you why. Sims approaching 6 feet 5 inches tall from behind the defense. Cofield is the right outside linebacker. Will come into the picture just late. Looked like Leonard Griffin, 98, got his hand up. Cofield makes a great diving interception. There's good pressure here by the Kansas City defensive line. Mike Bell is in there, 99, but that's Leonard Griffin, 98, who gets his hands up there. Nice play, Cofield, Kansas City ball.
Tight end. Kansas City was a power set. Ready to run it on 1st and 10. Play fake to the run, and DeBerg on a rollout swings it out to Herman Hurd, who is hit and knocked down at the 26-yard line. Nicely executed by DeBerg, who kept the linebackers frozen with the play fake to the runner and then threw for 7 yards to Herman Hurd.
That's another problem that I think Kansas City has in replacing this coaching staff. This is an offense that's been very successful around the NFL. Run first by Lindy Infante at Cincinnati. Then at Cleveland for a couple of years. George Sefcik, the offensive coordinator, now with him. This is an offense that Steve DeBerg functions very well in. Nice mobile quarterback even for 12 years in the league.
Paul Palmer is out of the doghouse and back on the field for Kansas City, number 26, as they go to Saxon, a straight-ahead run on 2nd and 2. And it'll be very close to a first down as the carry is to the 23-yard line. Dorsey and Marshall are on the staff. Trump, your club, the Bengals, having a problem down there.
House of Pain has always been tough for the Bengals to play at Houston. Always been tough.
Dallas is in Washington now tied 3-all. Tampa Bay got ahead having a tough day at New England, but they're so far have the Patriots scoreless.
On Larry Moriarty back in the ballgame now for Kansas City. Good lead blocker. He's teamed with Saxon.
Moriarty takes the ball on 3rd and less than a yard. He's hit hard. Eric Dorsey, who teamed with Moriarty at Notre Dame, Comes and meets him head on and knocks him back.
Yeah, but Don, Kansas City's got to go for it. 4-9-1. There's no reason to punt the ball here. Try the field goal. Go for it. Frank Gann's a very quick decision. I'm rather surprised at that choice of Larry Moriarty. He's only been there a week. Christian Okoye deactivated, and Moriarty brought in.
9:25 to play in the first half. Giants lead the Chiefs 7-0.
Sweep coming this way.
Less than a yard.
Sweep coming this way.
Moriarty bangs and gets it. The Chiefs come off the ball nicely. Addicks, an excellent guard at the right side, 61, and Eatman, a 295-pound tackle next to him. Both stars in the U.S. Football League, just fired out and gave Moriarty the room to go.
Jackson comes in motion.
It's a tough spot, though. He might not have it.
Very, very close. You see Dorsey on the tackle really stands him up, and it's going to be close enough to measure, Don.
Initial thrust looked like he was there easily, but the mark is made at the 22-yard line.
They got
Gets it by the length of the ball. So the Chiefs, who despite the problems with the franchise, don't quit. They keep on hitting, and now they're challenging.
See that offensive line. Eatman, 75, does a good job of blocking Dorsey, but Dorsey's still there to make the stop, at least make the measurement close.
Now Palmer is flanked wide to the left at the top of your screen. The running back is a very good receiver. He has 48 catches this year. 1st and 10. Pitch back. Saxon. Giants hitting hard. Eric Howard gets him as the carry is inside the 20 for 2 yards. Now let's go back to NFL Live. Bob?
All right, Don, on the pregame show, Paul McGuire said to win today against Cincinnati, Houston had to do it on the ground. Well, Mike Rozier has 94 yards, and the second quarter isn't even half finished yet. This is his second touchdown. First came from 13, this one from 15. The Oilers lead the Bengals 14-0.
Thank you, Bob. Big development, because if the Bills have gone from 14-7 over the Raiders, just hold on, they could get the home field advantage, as we said earlier in the Buffalo's case, the home ice advantage. Right now, Cincinnati has the edge. Same record as Buffalo, but they've beaten the Bills head on and beat them soundly. Gary Reasons makes the stop as James Saxon gets another call for Kansas City. It's going to bring up 3rd down and about 7. Coach Gann's excited.
Giants come with the extra defensive backs in the ball game. It'll be interesting to see what their choice is here. Giants are taking out an awful lot of defensive players. There's Nick Lowry. This season, the game's most accurate field goal kicker.
Extraordinary player. And he's about as good and bad now as he is when there isn't anything. 3rd down and 6 arises for the Chiefs, who are challenging. They trail the Giants 7-0. Berg has been taken out of the shotgun by the crowd. He had to go up under center. Here's a throw to Stephon Page, and he's down to the 4-yard line. As Stephon Page, on a crossing pattern, very nearly goes in for his 8th touchdown reception. As it was good for 13 yards. And now the Chiefs will go 1st and goal inside the Giant 5.
Don, this is great pass protection by the offensive line. A crossing pattern takes a little extra time. And watch this catch. Nice hands catch by Page. The closest guy in coverage was not there, and Perry Williams finally makes the tackle. Very short pattern run, but it takes an awful long time to develop.
A top player, Stephon Page, a free agent out of Fresno State. That was his 55th catch this season. Saxon cuts back. Big hit put on at the 3 by Eric Howard. Now a marker comes in. Marker came in after the ball carrier was down. Holding.
Against KC. Now they're right back in the same spot.
So that takes the Chiefs from 2nd and goal at the 2-yard line, and they'll be set back now on the holding call. Here's Jim Tunney to give us the guilty party.
Holding, 76 offense. Still 1st down.
John Alt, the left tackle. Huge tackle from Iowa, former #1 draft choice.
2nd man in. They run a little fold. Baldinger, 77, out on the pull. And Saxon cuts back inside. And can't really see the hold. Well, yes, I think we can. It appears that he pulled Marshall to the ground.
Jonathan Hayes has done a good job blocking on Lawrence Taylor. First down and goal from the 14-yard line. Play fake. DeBerg takes a look. Throws on the run, and it's broken up by Kenny Hill. The veteran safety from Yale came up and got a hand on the ball. DeBerg, like Montana, who he played with at San Francisco, a brilliant ball faker. Gives the back the empty hand and freezes the backers.
Watch the way he holds this ball out here like he's going to give it to Paul Palmer, and then Palmer blocks Lawrence Taylor. Hill, excellent job. He's going for the ball just like the receiver is. And there's more contact allowed in 1988.
Crowd starts up again now. Second down and goal. Here's a handoff off a play fake. Saxon cuts back and gets only to the 12-yard line. A gain of just 2, and that brings up third down and goal from the 12. Gary Reasons, playing an excellent game at inside backer, made the stop for the Giants.
I see George Sefcik in the gray, Frank Gans in the red. This does not fool the Giant defense at all. You see both Reasons, 55, Pepper Johnson, 52, stay right there. Carl Banks does not move. You're trying to get those linebackers to drop as Nick Lowry gets ready. Watch the crossing pattern here again, Tom.
Two right out, set right. Devon Page, ever dangerous at the top of your screen. Third down and goal. DeBerg takes a look into the end zone. It's incomplete at the goal line and no flag. An underthrown ball, and Pepper Johnson was going for the ball.
Lawrence Taylor was going for Steve DeBerg, too. And they had two guys out there on Lawrence Taylor, both Alt and James Saxon, but LT able to put enough pressure on DeBerg that he can't really follow through on it. You see, it just hits his arm.
Be a 28 or 29-yard field goal attempt coming up. Nick Lowry's hit 23 of 25 field goal attempts this season.
Not bad for a guy cut 8 times.
8 NFL teams cut him,
including the Kansas City Chiefs.
The collegian played for Dartmouth. Kick is up.
No good.
And it's no good. The wind caught it. He played a fade looking for the wind to bring it back, but it didn't work as the swirling wind at Giant Stadium takes some of the steam out of the KC Chiefs. A chance at points goes for naught, and the Giants continue to lead 7-0.
This is how close that attempt by Nick Lowry was. Just outside the right upright. And when the ball is kicked, watch Nick Lowry. You try to play the wind, but the Giants know it first, and then Lowry says, doggone it.
Otis Anderson now in the backfield to run the ball for the Giants. Not very well, as he is quickly shut down by big Leonard Griffin, the left defensive end from Grambling. Scoreboard numbers are changing on Sunday 15. That was a -3-yard play. Bengals on the board with a field goal, but Houston continues to lead. Vikings, who've been scoring a lot of points lately, not doing much today at Green Bay. Buffalo extends its lead to 10 over the Raiders in the cold in western New York. Bill Sims on second down and 13 as the ball slapped back at him. This Chief defense is coming hard, and Leonard Griffin is the main thrust.
It's about 4 or 5 times now that the Chiefs defensive line slapped the ball back in Bill Sims' face. Don, I'll make this comment. I have not seen Joe Morris in quite a while. There you see 24, O.J. Anderson in the lineup. Have no report if there's something wrong with Joe Morris, but Joe Morris started the game and was the entire scoring drive for the Giants. Haven't seen much of him since.
Third down and 12 arises now for the Giants, who continue to lead as they did after the opening drive, 7-0. 4:45 to play in the half. Sims swept under. I'll tell you one thing, Neil Smith is back in the game. He was coming hard. So is Mike Bell, number 99.
First sack of the day by either team. Nice game run up front by Kansas City. And the offensive line of the New York Giants just can't pick it up. Look, there's 2 guys there. Leonard Griffin, 98. Mike Bell, 99.
Buford again ready to punt now. He'll hit the ball into the swirling wind that has taken the chill factor below 0. sun is still up. When it starts to drop, this is going to be a tough ending as the kick is out of bounds at about the Giant 40.
This is 2 straight times now that Kansas City is going to get great field position after just a 30-yard punt. The Chiefs are getting their opportunities in the position of where the ball is to start a drive. Now they got to get it in the end zone.
So the Chiefs, who have had very little sustained offense, got close the last time. The completion to Stephon Page got it down inside the 5-yard line. Then a holding penalty took it back to the 14. Unable to move the ball from there. Lowry was wide with a field goal attempt. The Giants continue to lead the game 7-0. Jackson, not much there. This Giant defense has really toughened up in the recent weeks. Their season turned around, the Giants, when they came from behind to win at New Orleans on a Sunday night. New Year's weekend, college football's national championship will be decided on NBC. First, Syracuse meets LSU in the Hall of Fame Bowl. Then the Fiesta Bowl features a battle of the nation's only unbeaten teams when #1 Notre Dame takes on #3 West Virginia. And they concludes with the primetime extravaganza of the Orange Bowl. The Hurricanes of Miami, #2 in America, against 5th-ranked Nebraska. All on NBC Sports, January 2nd. Throw and a catch. The tight end Hayes, his 3rd reception on a 2nd and 9 play. He's ahead for a gain of 13 yards.
The Giants came into this ball game leading the NFL in sacks. That is, going into this weekend with 47. Kansas City Chiefs offensive line doing a great job of keeping those rushers out. It's either double teaming Lawrence Taylor on the outside, Alt, and Rich Balding are doing a great job. Irv Eatman really giving Steve DeBerg plenty of time to find open receivers.
3:02 to play, first half. It's challenging as they did their last possession, but still scoreless. Giants lead 7-0. Herman Hurd. Right side moving well. Those huge offensive linemen of the Chiefs getting out in front and giving Herman Hurd some room to dart ahead. Pepper Johnson was on the tackle along with the free safety Terry Kennard. It was a 6-yard gain on first down.
And you know what else the Chiefs are doing a great job of is they're assigning a guy to Lawrence Taylor so that he can't pursue the play from behind. They got a tight end lined up on him in most instances. This time Jonathan Hayes, 85, right over him. And what they're trying to do is make sure that Lawrence Taylor can't pursue. This time Taylor on the near side, though.
And they're going to the tight end every time he blitzes. That's the hot zone. He leaves it open. They go right to there. DeBerg ready to read. Here's a 2nd down carry. 2nd down and 4 for very little. Carl Banks, an all-pro player, left outside linebacker, just now rounding into his Pro Bowl form of a year ago.
This is Bob Costas in New York. Warren Moon drops back to pass at the Astrodome, but Carl Zander retreats in coverage, jumps up, intercepts, thinks about a big return, but Reggie Williams, his own man, knocks him down. And the Bengals have to settle for a field goal. They trail 14-3.
While here at Giant Stadium, the Giants hold to a 7-0 lead, but the Chiefs challenging on consecutive possessions, unable to score yet. This is 3rd and short. 3rd and about 2 from the 16-yard line. Play fake. DeBerg naked reverse. He's in open field. He's a live product. They can stick him, and they get him at the 16. All play as DeBerg looked to catch the Giant defense, rotating and out of position. But Kennard, the free safety, made the stop.
Excellent job of staying home by Terry Kennard.
Short of the first down, too, Trump. It's 4th down.
You can see the good job that DeBerg does on the fake. It certainly fools Lawrence Taylor. But look, they're in 2-down area. 4-9-1. They've already gone for it once. They'll go for it again.
Saxon set to the left. Moriarty aligned behind his quarterback. 4th down and less than a yard. 7-0 Giants. Moriarty drilled. He had to get to the 15-yard line, and linesman coming in with the spot. Jim Burt slid the center block and made the hit, and the Giants say he didn't get there.
All depends upon the mark.
They seem pretty confident, Bob. They're going right off the field.
I think he's got enough.
They're bringing out the markers.
That's 2 4th downs Kansas City's now gone on without pressure on the team, with a 4-9-1 record, and Frank Gans not knowing if he's going to be there or where next year. That's the disadvantage that the New York Giants have. Oh, he made it. Oh, by 1 nub of the football, he made it. Frank Gans extremely pleased.
George Sefcik in the gray coat, the offensive coordinator for Kansas City.
And the guy cheering in the background here is the offensive line coach, Carl Mock. This is very, very close. Moriarty cuts it back. Jim Burt gets the first hit. And it all depends on the mark.
And the mark is with the Chiefs, so they get 4 new downs. First and 10 at the 15-yard line. Herman Hurd, 3 blockers in front. The Giants come a hitting at the 13-yard line. A gain of about 2 yards on the play.
Timeout taken by Kansas City. 32 seconds left in the first half.
So there's a break at Giant Stadium with the Giants in the lead 7-0. 32 seconds, 32 ticks left down the second quarter clock here at Giant Stadium. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. On a day when the Giants feeling the pressure of the Philadelphia Eagles, who've moved to within a half game of the lead in the NFC East and forced into a must-win situation. Kansas City playing for pride may have a lot of that. They've played well. Giants with a 7-0 lead. Second down and 8 arises for Steve DeBerg as he takes a look into the end zone. Lets her go. And the ball is off the hands of Herman Hurd.
Good coverage by Perry Williams, the cornerback. That time Giants came with the zone. I think Kansas City was hoping man-to-man. And you'll see those linebackers drop back. 55 reasons, just reading the eye of the quarterback. DeBerg goes outside, but unfortunately Williams is there in zone coverage right underneath Herman Hurd.
Nice second look. Our producer today for NBC Sports is Terry Ewert. Our director, Richard Klein. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Michael Weissman. Coordinating producer of NFL football, Ted Nathanson. As third down now arises for the Chiefs, trailing the Giants 7-0 with 27 ticks left in the first half. Again, the Giants put on the heat. Lawrence Taylor came up busting threw aside the tackle, and Leonard Marshall was right with him. I think an interesting aspect of Lawrence Taylor is well documented. He was on a drug suspension earlier. A lot of people feel he has a cavalier attitude. He talked about playing golf as rehab, but the truth is he is in a very serious, intense aftercare program. He's one of the leaders of it. He's late 3 days a week to practice because of his involvement with that program. I had a chance to spend quite a bit of time with him Friday. I've never seen him looking better.
He is an awesome football player and human being when he's right, when he's straight.
Nick Lowry had to win just the other one away. This time he spins it up.
Made it.
And knocks it through. So Nick Lowry hits the field goal with 17 seconds to play in the first half. And the Chiefs are right in this windy, cold game. 7-3 they trail. That was a 31-yarder. Wasn't 6 for Coach Gans, but 3 ain't bad.
This time he plays it in the middle of the 2 uprights. The wind takes it a little bit left, and he's hoping. And then 31 yards later, it goes through. Bill Kenny, the holder. So the Chiefs, who have won the field position battle this entire first half, come up with just 3 points.
"17 seconds to play in the first half, and the Chiefs now trailing 7-3 as these playing conditions are getting worse. 76,000 assembled here, Trump, are heading for
cover.
Something.
I still wonder, with the ability of Joe Morrison, that first drive to just take it right down the field, what's happened to him. You got to find out at halftime if there is some injury to Joe Morris, because after that opening drive, the Giants offense has produced very little, which we talked about at the outset of the program. That is a very inconsistent offense.
Ran the ball 9 times in 10 plays in that opening drive. Now the kickoff comes downfield, a low kick. Wayne Haddix picks it up and starts upfield and breaks it across the 35-yard line. And the offense of the Giants comes out with just 12 seconds to play in the first half. 23-yard return. Looks like Jolton Joe is ready to go back to work.
Well, he's standing on the sideline, though.
His cape was off.
We have no report that there's any injury to Joe Morris.
No, we tried to find one if there was anything, and nothing's come back. Stephen Baker, the touchdown maker, could get some action here. The little wide receiver. He'll be flanked to the left side. The Giants have time to fire deep, maybe twice. 12 seconds to go in the half. Giants with a 4-point lead, 7-3. Sims stands in, fires up the middle. Catch is made by Lionel Manuel at the 45, and that'll do it.
Giants take the time. No, clock has expired. Bill Sims was yelling all the way up the field for a timeout. Now they should get one more play.
They're keeping the players out.
Please reset the clock. Please set 4 seconds on the clock. 4 seconds. Timeout, New York.
Unusual that in your home stadium, the clock runs out on you. Now, Sims does take a lot of time here because he steps up 4 or 5 times, but you see Lionel Manuel come across the middle, and the minute Phil Sims let this ball go, he was signaling for a timeout, figuring that Lionel Manuel is going to catch it, so he gets one more chance. And they bring on the punter. No, the field goal kicker. Look at this.
Now, the irony of this is the flags are straight out blowing into his face, but as all the Giants will tell you, with the swirling wind here, the wind's at his back.
Oh, good. Like gravy. We're talking
Tom Dempsey range here.
62-yard attempt.
I was there for that one. He hit a 63-yarder. Giant place kicking has been exceptional this year. Raul Alegre hit 10 of 11 field goals, then went out with an injury. They brought in Paul McFadden. He's hit 14 of 16.
Tell me about this kid. Can he even come close on a 62-yard attempt?
Well, I think he might. He can if he's got the wind, if it does gust behind him.
There's his longest. I tell you, on a cold day like this, on a cold day like this, when the cold compresses the air in that football, it's like kicking a brick. It does not carry well. This thing will need a jet stream to get to that crossbar.
Not going to get there. It carries short into the end zone, and so that'll conclude the first half play. The Giants scored a touchdown in their opening drive and didn't produce points since. The Chiefs, with 3 points on their last possession, go to the locker room trailing the Giants 7-3. So the Giants came out intent on running the ball, and they did, but then Kansas City shut it down. NFL Live halftime activities will continue in a moment. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
We welcome those of you watching the Chiefs give the Giants a go of it. Bob Costas along with Paul McGuire. Let's check what's happening elsewhere. Houston just scored again, and they are really making it the house of pain for the Cincinnati Bengals. 21-3 late in the first half. Sam Weich's team looking to wrap up the division title and looking to move ahead of Buffalo in the race for the home field advantage throughout the AFC playoffs. But Mike Rozier has other ideas. Here's the first of his 2 first-half touchdowns, this one on a 13-yard run. Now in the second quarter, a 15-yarder. He's already gained better than 100 yards on just 11 carries for the day. They get their third touchdown late in the second quarter when, following a long pass to Haywood Jeffries, well, we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit here. Here's an interception by the Bengals' Carl Zander. And typical of the way the day has gone for the Bengals, he's knocked down by his own man, Reggie Williams. Now here comes the touchdown. Off the fake option, Curtis Duncan makes the 13-yard catch for the TD that gives them the lead at 21-3. That one had been set up by a long pass connection from Moon to Haywood Jeffries, which brought them down into scoring position, and they lead now 21-3, completely stopping Boomer Esiason and company.
That is really surprising when you have a team like the Cincinnati Bengals who score over 30 points a ball game. But we talked about at the beginning, Bobby, if Houston could run the football, it's the only way really they can win this game. And Rozier with over 100 yards in the first half just shows you. But the defense of Houston, I don't know what happened last week against Pittsburgh, but they're stopping Cincinnati.
Detroit playing at Chicago. Lions 4-10, Bears 11-3. The quarterbacks are Harbaugh and Hilger, and they're tied at 3 at halftime. Green Bay at home against Minnesota. Green Bay leading 7-3, and moments ago they were threatening. Paul, were you able to catch a glimpse there? They were at the 2-yard line of the Vikings.
Not yet. They just threw a pass and it was incomplete in the end zone, so they really, I think they're getting ready to kick a field goal.
Evidently, they're quarreling now over an instant replay possibility. There's a review situation going on. The Packers leading 7-3. Minnesota perhaps looking ahead to the Monday night finale against the Bears, where they might have a chance to steal the division title. In the meantime, they're trailing 7-3 and could go down by an even larger margin, depending upon what happens in the next few minutes, as the Packers are threatening deep in Viking territory. Buffalo leads the Raiders in Buffalo, where it's snowing heavily. 17-7 is the score in this one. Let's take a look at some of the highlights. Mike Shanahan and his Raiders have a chance to win the AFC West. 3 clubs tied at 7-7. Here's Rob Riddick early for the Bills. Goes over the top on a 4th and goal for the touchdown that gives them the 7-0 lead. A Steve Smith 1-yard touchdown tied it for the Raiders, but then Thurman Thomas bursts through a huge hole and goes 37 yards for a touchdown. After that, Scott Norwood added a field goal of 30 yards, and the Bills have the lead 17-7, trying to snap a 2-game losing streak. Now, as it stands right now, both the Bills and the Bengals have 11-3 records, and the Bengals have the inside track because they beat the Bills head-to-head when it comes to the tiebreaker to decide home field advantage. But with Buffalo leading at home and the Bengals losing big in Houston, it could be a profitable day for Buffalo if things remain as they stand right now. Your thoughts on this one?
Well, before I go to that, the one that you were really concerned about, the Packers did end up kicking a field goal, so now it's 10-3.
Yeah.
I knew that would excite you very much.
Nice of you to point that out.
Now, the other thing, the Buffalo Bills game, Jay Schrader fumbled the ball twice. It was 10-point turnovers. And the interesting thing about this game, though, the Buffalo Bills, they are running the football, which they haven't been able to do very well most of this year. So if they can continue to control the ball and keep the ball out of the hands of the Raiders, they can win it.
All right, in the game you're watching, the Chiefs, with the Nick Lowry field goal of 31 yards, moved to within 7-3 on the Giants. Lowry had missed a 29-yarder earlier. Here's the tribute to Harry Carson and George Martin before what is expected to be their final regular season home game. The Giants on their first possession with Joe Morris chewing up a lot of yardage. Cap it off on this Phil Simms touchdown pass to Mark Bavaro of 12 yards, and that's the only TD of the game so far. The Giants, with their 9-5 record, knowing if they win their last 2, they're the champs of the NFC East, and leading over the Chiefs 7-3. The Cowboys trying to snap a 10-game losing streak. They've come close several times during that 10-game slide, and they lead at Washington over the 7-7 Redskins, who have the slimmest of playoff possibilities. Everything has to fall into place for Washington to get a wild card. It's virtually impossible, and they are trailing at home to the Cowboys late in the first half, 10-3. Tampa Bay and New England, no score in this one in Foxborough. Now, they benched Doug Flutie, who had been 6-3 as the starter. The reason? They thought they had to get some kind of passing attack going against Tampa Bay, which is very tough against the run. So they started Tony Eason. He's 3 of 8 for 26 yards. He was booed roundly by the fans at Sullivan Stadium. He's been intercepted once in the end zone. John Stevens, the rookie sensation, has 9 carries for -1 yard against the Tampa Bay defense. Now, Testaverde isn't having a big day, 3 of 6 for 30 yards, but it's a scoreless tie at this point, just seconds before the end of the first half. And in fact, they have gone to halftime at Sullivan Stadium. Frank DeFord joins us when we come back, following these messages from your local station. Welcome back to NFL Live, and we're joined now by our good friend Frank DeFord, who, as usual, has a suggestion for the National Football League, a constructive suggestion which the major domos over on Park Avenue would do very well to heed.
Thank you very much, Bob.
Proceed.
Well, you see, about this time of year, they start coming out with these figures showing what the interconference standings are. Right now, for example, the AFC is leading 27-21. The AFC always wins the stupid little games in October and then gets blown out in the Super Bowl. In this regard, the AFC reminds me of the Democrats, who win all the races for mayor and legislature, all that nickel-dime stuff, but can't ever win the presidency. So I'm very suspicious how important this conference stuff really is, especially since the whole league is screwed up geographically. Atlanta's in the west, and Phoenix and Dallas in the east, and so on. There haven't been any real traditional rivals since, Don Hudson and Bronco Nagurski. So what we need is a modern alignment, Bob, a modern alignment of the NFL, only we should divide the league up by something that matters, not geography, playing surface. The two conferences would be the grass conference and the artificial conference. In the artificial conference, there would be two divisions. The dome division will have Houston, Indianapolis, Detroit, New Orleans, Seattle, Minneapolis, and Dallas, which doesn't have a whole dome, but then it doesn't have a whole team either. So the other group in the artificial conference would be the synthetic division. Now, these are the teams that play outside but on a man-made field. Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, Cincinnati, Buffalo, New England, Kansas City, and Meadowlands 1 and Meadowlands 1A. The good thing about this system is that the players coming out of college would get to decide whether they want to play in the grass conference and get muddy or play in the artificial conference and not have any knees when they get older. Now, naturally, there are also two divisions in the grass conference. First, there's the tropical division, where there is not only grass, but where the grass never gets snowed on. This is Miami and Tampa Bay, Phoenix, San Diego, San Francisco, and the Rams and Raiders from La La Land. And last is the frosty division, where there is not only grass underfoot, but also wind and snow and sleet and stuff like that. The frosty division includes Cleveland, Washington, Chicago, Atlanta, Green Bay, and Denver. Also, I think that baseball should get rid of the old American and National Leagues and adapt this arrangement as well. Put the St. Louis Cardinals and all the silly teams that hit singles and run around in circles, put them in one league with artificial turf, and Bob put the old-fashioned teams all together in the other league with old-fashioned grass.
You know that the people in Atlanta are not going to be pleased that you place them in the frosty division.
Well, it does snow in Atlanta sometimes.
Yes, but it's very hot there at times as well.
But nonetheless, it is not subtropical, like Orlando and South.
Despite the little quibbles, I believe this is an inspired idea.
I'm glad to hear you say that. Another idea might be to name these divisions like the NHL, after people. Maybe you could think about that. You know, they name those things the Campbell division and
I don't know who's in the Smythe division and who's in the Norris
nobody
division.
Does, but that would make it even more interesting. I think, for example, the tropical division should be the Don Ho division. That one,
I like that.
You like that?
Yeah, that's very nice.
Maybe Sergeant Preston for the frosty division.
The Yukon division,
yes,
yeah.
Absolutely.
That would be good.
And the dome division, somebody with a dome.
The synthetic division, who might that be?
How about the Jessica Rabbit?
It's obviously a large gap in my cultural background.
No, in Roger Rabbit, in the good
she was in Roger Rabbit, was she?
Yes, that's right.
Well, now that this conversation has taken a turn, a decided turn toward the esoteric, we proceed. NFL Live halftime activities will continue, even as the chief honchos of the NFL mull Frank DeFord's suggestion over. We will continue momentarily.
In 1987, the New York Giants won the Super Bowl, and the performance of offensive tackle Carl Nelson made that victory possible. But then a nagging shoulder injury had trainers asking for x-rays. They revealed not only a shoulder injury, but a tumor diagnosed as cancer. The future looked bleak for Carl Nelson.
Here I was in a fight for my life, tougher than any opponent I'd faced on the football field, but I wasn't in the fight alone. For more than 75 years, the American Cancer Society and the American people have been in a crusade to conquer cancer. Today, the doctors have given me a 95% chance for a cure. In many communities throughout the country, the American Cancer Society and the United Way are working together to save lives and reduce suffering. United Way. It brings out the best in all of us.
This message furnished by the National Football League.
Giants continue to hold to a 7-3 halftime lead as we're almost ready for the start of the third quarter. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. Really the only offense the Giants had in this game of any note was in that opening drive when they went 61 yards in a 6-minute drive to open the game. It was Sims to Bavaro on the payoff end, but the Chiefs have kind of taken over the game since then.
Yeah, that touchdown to Mark Bavaro, 9 rushes by Joe Morris, and then the scoring throw to Bavaro. A good play action fake by Phil Sims. But Don, you're right. They got 61 yards in that opening drive, and they had it for 6 minutes. For the remainder of the first half, they had the ball a grand total of 5 minutes and 49 seconds, and this has basically been the only celebration that the New York Giants have had in this first half. Now, Kansas City has won the field position. They've had several opportunities to score. Lowry misses a field goal and makes a field goal. So the Giants back to their inconsistent offense. I mean, they got 90 yards total offense in the first half, and as you mentioned, 61 of them come in the opening drive. We have not seen Joe Morris since that opening drive. We don't know what's wrong with him.
Well, the Chiefs are going to be home for the holidays in the playoffs. We know that. They'd love to spoil it for the Giants, and they've beaten some good teams, and they're very much in this one. As you look at the first half numbers, it's interesting, Trump, after that opening 6-minute drive, the Chiefs of the Giants, the Chiefs have really had the ball most of the time.
Yep.
Minus 2 yards rushing in the second quarter, as you pointed out. So the Giants are looking for offense, something they didn't have most of this season until last week.
Well, we documented at the outset of the program today that the one major concern that Bill Parcells has is this young offensive line. Sometimes it plays wonderfully. Last week against the Phoenix Cardinals, they ran up and down the field. But after the opening drive of today's game, they produced little or no offense whatsoever. Minus 2 yards rushing in the second quarter for the New York Giants. And frankly, Don, I don't think they want Phil Sims to have to throw the ball and throw the ball a lot in this second half to win this football game.
Well, the big question, the one that hasn't been answered as we watched DeBerg loosen up, is where's Joe Morris, who was the run offense and then went to the bench. No injury report, but he's not been in there, and they've had nothing since he left.
Yeah. O.J. Anderson last week had 3 touchdowns against the Phoenix Cardinals, but he is not the kind of running back that Joe Morris is. A little guy who can fire up into the line of scrimmage and really wreak havoc on a defense. And you got to also give a lot of credit to the Kansas City Chiefs defense. They have done a great job of shutting down, with the exception of that opening drive, they've done a great job of shutting down this New York Giant offense.
DeBerg with 5 hits and 14 throws so far in the game. The man who's ushered in some great quarterbacks into this league. He was at San Francisco with Joe Montana, at Denver with Elway, and then another #1 in the league. Testaverde went to Tampa Bay, and who was the man there at the same time with DeBerg? His coaches say nobody works harder. Coach Parcells, who's feeling the bad weather here today, but he points out he didn't mind it because his Giants have a history of playing very well in it, and they are 8-0 in their last 8 games at Giant Stadium in December.
There's Morris on the sideline. 56 yards. He accounted for 41 of it in the opening drive, and we've seen very little of him since.
Before this game is over, Trump, guys won't be just on that hot seat bench. They'll be in it. It's tough. So the Giants are ready to kick the ball off to start the second half as Paul Palmer and Kenny Gamble drop back deep for the Chiefs. This kickoff is sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beers. Palmer and Gamble come up. Nobody can tell how the ball's going to carry downfield in these gusting winds.
He's going to need a holder there.
Giant fans among the best behaved in pro sports. Somebody said most of them are too old to fight. They've been average season ticket holder. A lot of them have season tickets for 30 years.
And some people, it take you 30 years to get them, too.
Line drive kickoff. Off back fields it. Byron Ingram, his second kickoff return. He's having a big day. An offensive guard who's in there to block. December 1988, the 30th anniversary of one of the most important games in the National Football League's history, the overtime playoff game for the NFL championship between the Baltimore Colts and the Giants at Yankee Stadium. And after that game in '58, 30 years ago this month, as Houston now has extended its lead to 21-3. the NFL really started to boom on television. The next year, the Giants were sold out at Yankee Stadium. Buffalo with a 13-point halftime lead on the Raiders. In a driving snowstorm. The bird drops. Let's go. He's got a man there. Stephon Page makes a diving catch at the 28-yard line. So the Chiefs, who fired early before, trying to beat that rookie corner, Sheldon White, catching this time. And Page, just a straight fly pattern of well-thrown ball into the wind by DeBerg, a 31-yard gain.
Watch Steve DeBerg look off. He'll look over to he looks right down the middle, then he looks over to the open receiver. Sheldon White is the man in coverage. He just was not there. Now, once again, Chiefs in that real positive area of the field.
Inside the Giant 30, pitch back. Herman Hurd runs hard and gets to the 24-yard line. So the Chiefs with Eatman and Addix on the right side of their offensive line, and Jonathan Hayes, the tight end, bust open the Giant defense for a gain of 5 on the play.
Now you got to admire this Kansas City football team. The general manager is not brought back. Frank Gans and his staff don't know if they're going to be there next year. None of these players are guaranteed spots. They're playing like they're the playoff team, not the New York Giants.
Very spirited effort by the Chiefs, and it's picked up. Hurd running hard as he's down to the 22-yard line on a 2nd and 5 carry. Marker down.
Came in late. Jim Burke makes the tackle. The umpire throws it. That's generally holding, and it is against Kansas City.
You ever been in a situation where you didn't know if the coach was going to be back?
No.
Well, of course, Paul Brown he was your mentor.
Holding 64. Still second down.
Center Gary Perry. No, I don't know if there's ever been a football team in this situation. Not only is the coaching staff in jeopardy and the players, but you don't know who's going to make the decisions about this franchise next year.
Right, usually the coach goes because you can't fire a football team. Rarely does the president go. Jack Stedman will continue to run the varied and successful enterprises of Lamar Hunt in Kansas City. He's still very much a part of Lamar Hunt's organization. Jim Schaff is out, the longtime general manager. Second down and 16. A poorly thrown ball, as in to make the strike was Jim Burke. Sluggo Burke raising his hands like I didn't hit him late, and the official says he did not.
Ball was intended for Jonathan Hayes, and Steve DeBerg just did not move his feet. Now let's watch Lawrence Taylor. He comes in. John Alt, 76, does a pretty good job, and he's done a good job most of the day keeping Lawrence Taylor out of there. Jim Burke makes the hit. DeBerg didn't move his feet. There's a crossing pattern, and Jonathan Hayes was wide open.
Third down arises. Third down and almost 16 to go for the first down for Kansas City. You see the conversion rate not good on this tough day. Herman Hurd is knocked down. Boy, that's a big play, and the Giants might have the ball.
I think he was down.
Official says they've got it. Lawrence Taylor. Eric Howard has been playing with a very high level of intensity, fighting off blockers and making hard head-on sticks in the line. That freed the ball.
Runner down by contact.
Yes, sir.
Fourth down.
I thought that.
Fourth down.
I agree
Runner
with
down
Jim
by
Tunney.
contact.
I agree with Jim Tunney.
Final. It is down by contact. So the fumble does not go. It came after he was down, it's ruled.
They're running a little trick play here, and Baldinger gets right in the way. Whoa, wait a minute.
That's wrong.
Wait a minute. That ball is loose. We're going to review this one again. It looked like that ball hit the ground, but on that replay, we're going to have a review here.
30 seconds.
The umpire will get the buzz. Let's see if anything happens. I think the umpire's waiting for the buzz. Well, once again, here's the play.
Looks like a fumble, but the officials there say no. That ball was out.
Loose.
He wasn't down.
That ball's loose.
So the Chiefs, who've gotten a lot of breaks going against them, get a big one here. They get a chance at points, albeit from 51 yards out. Boom. Lowry powers it up and through, and the Chiefs are back to within 1 on a 51-yard field goal after what was quite apparent on the replay to have been a fumble. It should have been Giant ball. 12:22 to play in the third quarter, and the Chiefs are set to kick off.
Today's game is brought to you by Chrysler Motors. We just want to be the best. By English Leather, a man's cologne and aftershave, because some guys have it all. And by RCA, #1 with the toughest critics in the world.
Nick Lowry with a 51-yard field goal ties Jan Stenerud's NFL record, a 17th 50-plus yard field goal for Nick Lowry. Much of this season, he has been the offense for KC from the point total standpoint, as now the spinning kickoff will carry up to Neil Guggemos, who runs it across the 25, across the 30. Spins it out to the 35-yard line, and the Giants are going to have to come out of their dormant offense, or Kansas City is going to knock them out of first place, or at least into a tie with the Eagles.
Here comes Joe Morris back on the field. To explain that previous play, that was a fumble, non-fumble. It was ruled by Jim Tunney as down on contact, and therefore there is no review. Joe Morris, who was the sum total of the offense in the first drive of the game, I guess Joe only plays with the wind, huh?
Must be.
Or against the wind, whichever the Giants are.
Joe Morris protecting the ball, but not getting much, as he spins off, is knocked back by outside linebacker Tim Cofield. Down lineman for Kansas City, 98, Leonard Griffin. Jerome Salley, the ex-Giant, who was picked up a week ago Wednesday and started the following Sunday. He's at nose tackle. Mike Bell is the right end. Snipes, Del Rio, Pearson, and Cofield, the backers.
And this Kansas City defensive line playing very, very well.
Makeshift. The nose tackle position. They come on a blitz. Now they pick up Bell. There's a long ball downfield, and an open receiver is missed by Phil Simms. Sprinting across the field with Stephen Baker. So that brings up 3rd down and 8 for the Giants. Wide open was Stephen Baker, who nobody can get a direct hit on, which is good for Stephen. He's 5'8", 155 pounds.
Simms has plenty of time to throw it, too. That's just a little over the outstretched arms of Baker. 3rd and 8 now for the Giants.
Casey Robinson comes in. 3 wide receivers set to the near side, the lower portion of your screen. On 3rd down and 8. The Giants holding to a 1-point lead. Simms takes a drop, delivers, not close. Very nearly picked off by Sidney Johnson. So Simms unable to control his throws in this gusting wind, after DeBerg set up the last field goal that brought the Chiefs to within 1 point with a 31-yard strike to Stephon Page.
Mike Bell, this time working on Billy Ard. Good inside pass rush, but Phil Simms again has plenty of time. That ball looked like it was tipped a little bit.
Hunt, over the shoulder fair catch made by Kittrick Taylor back at the 19-yard line. They'll spot it at the 21. Rule that's where he caught the ball. And so the Chiefs go on offense, 1st down and 10 at their 21 with 11:21 to play in the 3rd quarter. Giant fans pick up the defense chant as Kansas City goes on offense, trailing by just a point. 1st and 10 Chiefs at their 21-yard line. Paul Palmer. He coughed it up twice last week against the Jets. Palmer with his first carry of the day as Houston extends its lead over the Bengals to 24-3 at halftime. Packers still up on the Vikings. Buffalo with a 13-point halftime lead on the Raiders. Dallas, an upset leader over Washington at RFK. New England has just scored to go up on Tampa Bay in freezing cold at Foxborough. 2nd down and 8 arises now for the Chiefs. DeBerg at 6'3", 218 stands in against the big Roston, cannot withstand it. As coming for the sack on the play was Carl Banks, 58.
First sack given up in 4 games, 3.5 games now by Kansas City. Saw Harry Carson standing on the sideline. Good coverage by the Giants down the field. DeBerg has enough time here to find one, but excellent coverage. Looks like Carl Banks overrun James Saxon, 21, to make the sack. First of the day for the Giants.
This is the Giants' last home game of the regular season, even though they'll play here next Sunday against the Jets. The Jets also are at home at Giant Stadium, and it's a Jet home game. The Giants, despite sellout crowds of 77,000 on a season ticket basis, get only 500 tickets for that game. DeBerg drops as the markers go, and Taylor really unloads on Steve DeBerg, and he's down. Lawrence Taylor with a blindside shot on DeBerg, and it's good to see he's up.
That's on John Alt, the offensive tackle.
Bloody but unbowed. Steve DeBerg really takes a shot from Taylor.
Taylor goes outside of Alt. Nice spin move. Alt was up in a 2-point stance. And, of course, when the ball is snapped, he just rocked out of his stance too early.
Illegal motion, number 76, offense, penalty is accepted. It'll be third down.
Interesting choice here by the New York Giants. They take the penalty. Obviously, they're looking for a turnover here, or a sack, or something like that. I don't understand that. If they let the play go, it'll be fourth down, and Kansas City would punt. Bill Parcells wants a short field here for his offense. Giants looking for turnover here, Don.
Yep. Giants coaches and players realizing again it's probably the defense that's going to have to win this game that they have to win. Taylor coming hard, and he gets the bird back at the 2-yard line. John Alt can't hold off Taylor as his locker mate Harry Carson salutes another All-Pro play by one of the greatest in the history of this game, Lawrence Taylor of the Giants.
Boy, is that a confidence builder for this defense? It's pretty much done it for years for the New York Giants, but you give the offense another shot so that you can back the offense up more or come up with a turnover. DeBerg did a great job hanging on to the football there, Don.
So all of a sudden, Trump, like it was in '86, the Giant defense takes over the game in the crowd. They're up and cheering the Giant D as Goodburn punts, and very well from his end zone. McConkey will run it back, though, from his 48. 45. Bill McConkey from the Naval Academy is cut down at the 44-yard line. Chris Martin came down to get him, 57.
Once again, you see Alt up in the 2-point stance. He gets no help. And LT with just tremendous leg strength goes around John Alt. And Harry Carson on the sideline, knowing what they're trying for. He cheers the Giants' second sack of the day, second on that drive.
Lawrence Taylor, I asked him Friday how he gets himself ready for a game. He takes intensity to another level. Said, I don't start really thinking about getting up until 20 minutes before we go out after the warm-ups. Then I think about all the good things that come with winning and all the bad things that come with losing. Then I think about the guy that wants to make me lose. It's going to be across from me. In this case, it's been John Alt who's been paying a price. As the Giants now go to the run, Joe Morris cutting back. Good hit by KC at the 40-yard line. A gain of about 3 on a first down carry. Eight minutes and 44 seconds, as you see, superimposed in the lower right, left in the third quarter. A reminder to our viewers that we'll be selecting the Budweiser most valuable player for today's game at the conclusion of the game.
Giants haven't been able to really get a running back loose against this Kansas City defense today.
Not since that first drive. Morris so well. Play fake to Joe Morris, and here's a throw and a catch to Lionel Manuel. He's down to the 21-yard line. The Chiefs come up hitting hard. Sherman Cockcroft. That was Deron Cherry who made the stop. The all-pro safety. But he made it way downfield, 19 yards, Trump.
Excellent throw by Phil Simms. Really puts the zip on the ball here. You can see how that ball gets out around coming to Lionel Manuel. He catches it with his body. Pearson tries to strip the ball away. Nice pickup. 19 yards.
And now the Chief defense being tested as the Giants start to move the ball, picked up by the play of their defense. And Joe Morris tries to break it to the outside, and a big hit by Angelo Snipes, number 52. An unheralded linebacker from West Georgia with great speed. He made that play for a 3-yard loss.
Again, his Kansas City defense doing a great job of pursuing. George Adams comes in the ball game now. Joe Morris leaves. Now watch the way those linebackers really pursue along the line of scrimmage. There's a lot of people there. Mark Bavaro misses the block on Snipes, and Snipes able to make the tackle for a 3-yard loss.
On Friday, they worked hard going to Adams out of the backfield on a swing move over the middle. Here's Adams going in motion now. He can catch the ball as Phil Simms drops, takes a look, throws the other way, downfield. Bavaro with a second touchdown of the day. Mark Bavaro, 2 catches, both in the end zone. That one good for 24 yards, and the Giants, after seeing their lead cut to 1, now are up by 7. It could go to 8 with the extra point.
And the reason this play works is that Bill Simms does a good job of deking the free safety. See him look over to the left and then suddenly back to the right. Free safety Deron Cherry back there looking at the eyes of Bill Simms, trying to read where he's throwing it, was just laid over there in coverage, and Mark Bavaro an easy catch for a touchdown.
Bavaro with 49 catches this season, 4 for touchdowns, 2 today. Extra point by McFadden is knocked up and through, and with 6:53 to play in the 3rd quarter, Mark Bavaro, in a apparent prayer of thanksgiving, has been in the end zone twice. The kickoff up by McFadden, fielded by Paul Palmer, who breaks the crust for the moment and gets out to the 38-yard line. Let's take a look now, Trump, at how Mark Bavaro got free for the TD.
You want to watch Phil Simms' head. When he comes back, if you'll stop it right there, he looks to the left, and you can just see the feet of Deron Cherry. He's playing the left hash. They're sitting on the right hash, and Bavaro is running down here. That holds the free safety there long enough, and Phil Simms looks back. He knew where he was going all along. And all that look away did was give Mark Bavaro the 2 or 3 yards he needed to get in the end zone. Well done by Phil Simms.
Now the Chiefs are going to have to start putting it out. The sustained running game has not worked against this Giant defense. They'll go to the run to open it with 1st and 10, and Herman Hurd breaks it to the outside and gets ahead for a gain of about 7. Game clock down to 6:40 in the 3rd quarter. Bears come back now to tie Detroit 6-all in the cold of Soldier Field. Possible upset in the making at Green Bay, where the Packers lead the heavily favored Vikings. Buffalo taking command of the Raiders. Dallas in the process of possibly upsetting the Redskins. New England now in the 4th quarter continues to lead Tampa Bay. Second down and 2. 14-6. Giants in the lead. James Saxon runs the ball, and he appears to have a 1st down for Kansas City. 3-yard gain. Tackled by Kenny Hill.
Kenny Hill came firing up to that line of scrimmage like he was shot out of a gun. The Kansas City Chiefs running away from Lawrence Taylor. You're seeing 85 Jonathan Hayes blocking on Banks, but Kenny Hill comes firing in there to finish up on that tackle. But it is enough for a 1st down for Kansas City.
They just got there, so they go 1st and 10 now from midfield. DeBerg with 4 guys running deep pattern throws downfield, and it's almost intercepted by Kennard. Blew a wide open play on the ball. Jonathan Hayes, the tight end who caught 3 passes in the 1st half, was the intended receiver.
Jonathan Hayes wanted no part of that reception. He could sense the crowd around that football.
Give it that alligator arm.
Looked like a dachshund. Lawrence Taylor's a guy you got to identify on every single play. From the outside, this time he's on Eatman. Runs that do-si-do move and is suddenly screaming at Steve DeBerg.
238 pounds, and he overpowers 300-pound tackle. 2nd and 10 Chiefs, down by 8. Throwing a catch in the open field for a 1st down is the tight end Jonathan Hayes.
Wait a minute, this is amazing. Jim Tunney was going to pull his flag out. John Alt just absolutely dragged Lawrence Taylor to the ground, and then Jim Tunney put it back. He put his hand in his back pocket. Now watch what happens. It'll come from the right. He just dragged down. Look at Jim Tunney. See, he's got his hand reaching for his pocket, and then he doesn't pull the flag out. Complete pass, 1st down Kansas City. We go on.
Chiefs get another 1st down. They've had some breaks today, but they've had a lot more go against them this season. Palmer in the backfield. He gets the ball. He would have gone a long way had not Jim Burt, the nose tackle, fought off the blocker and made the stop for a gain of only 2 yards. An outstanding play by a former Pro Bowl player. A remarkable comeback story. Jim Burt, a free agent from Miami of Florida, had very serious lower back surgery in the offseason.
That's a bad injury for a nose tackle. Taylor lined up on this side of the ball. Kansas City runs to the other side of the ball. Taylor there keeping containment. They do not want to run the reverse.
Second down and almost 10. 14-6. Giants lead. DeBerg stands in. Here comes Taylor. Long ball to Jonathan Hayes. They really made Hayes a target. Giants doubling up on the excellent wide receivers. Carlos Carson's not caught a ball today.
Kenny Hill that time in coverage. Little slot corner, as they used to call it, tight end corner. Here's Bill Parcells. One of the most superstitious people I think you'll ever come across in your life.
Don't show him a black cat.
Or a penny with its tail up. Won't pick it up.
He bulks up a little in the season. The players call him Tuna. Third down. Almost 10. Giants left early. Here's a marker. Free play for DeBerg. He's going deep. It's picked off by Adrian White. But it could come back as the Giants jump. Intended receiver was Emil Harry.
We got 2 flags on the field. It is against the Giants.
That stops the clock with 4:55 to play in the third quarter. Giants leading 14-6. They led at halftime 7-3.
Parcells certainly got his game face on today, if nothing else.
Offside defense, number 70. Still third down.
Leonard Marshall.
The man that Parcells calls Shamu, the killer whale.
Marshall right there just trying to get a little advantage on the pass rush. Nice interception, but it comes back. Whoops.
3rd and 4 arises now for the Chiefs. Play fake. DeBerg with a rolling pocket throws downfield, and he can't get it to Emil Harry, number 86. Lawrence Taylor again was smoking through the pass blocking, putting the heat on DeBerg. As really the whole offensive game plan at this point, Trump, is to get away from Lawrence Taylor. The runs are away from him, so are the pass rolls.
Very smart. You have to account for Lawrence Taylor on every single play. You could end up with a broken quarterback, among other things. Lowry in for a 45 or 46-yard attempt.
It's going to be a 46-yarder. Flags are straight out blowing at him, yet the wind is behind him in this bizarre wind setting at Giant Stadium in the Meadowlands of New Jersey, and Nick Lowry delivers again. And the Giant lead is cut to 5. It's a 14-9 game.
What a season this kid has had. Absolutely extraordinary. He had plenty of room on that one.
As we check the scoreboard again, Chicago has now rallied and taken a lead over the Lions. 100 points this season for Nick Lowry with that last field goal. Buffalo blowing out the Raiders. They're looking for the plane right now. 15 degrees, 30-mile-an-hour winds, and heavy snow in Buffalo.
Look at Dallas, though.
Not what the California boys were looking for.
Look at Dallas. What is going on here? 17-3 over the Redskins.
Who needs Troy Aikman? The Packers are winning, too. They're also in contention for him. I think coaches are more concerned about being back next year than they are at the #1 pick.
Not a bad idea. Troy Aikman may be there. You as a coach may not. Chiefs hanging in, even with all the distractions this week. Really show an awful lot of perseverance in this stadium with the problems they've had this week.
President Jack Stedman resigned. The general manager Jim Schaaf was released. So right now, this ship does not have a heavy rudder. But the coaching staff and player roster remains intact over the last 2 games at least, as Gugamos downs the ball in the end zone. It comes out to the 20 on a touchback.
Easy, easy, fellas. Easy. It's late in the season.
Interesting, Trump, to see if Sims goes back to the throw. He had some open receivers the last time they had the ball. As you look at the playoff picture in the NFC, Bears are in. Giants can win the division with 2 more wins, but the Eagles, if they should ever tie at the end with the Eagles would be division champion because they've beaten the Giants twice. Phil Sims looking up. 1st and 10. Out pattern, and it's too much on it for Zeke Moat. Playoff picture in the American Conference. Buffalo had the Division 1 in the 12th weekend of the season. Cincinnati's in as no worse than a wild card team. Take your pick in the West. They're going to flip a coin when everybody finishes 8-8.
Well, obviously, L.A. is going to be 7-8, and Denver and Seattle play each other. So by late tonight, a lot's going to be settled in the AFC West.
Going into week 15, 18 clubs had a shot at the playoffs. Don Thorpe may have jumped on a 2nd down and 10 play. The Giants take it right at the Kansas City defense. Joe Morris running the ball.
Certainly take that penalty, though, because it remains 2nd down and 5 as opposed to 3rd down and about 3. I think Phil Sims just said it. We'll take the 2nd down. You can see Thorpe right over the center just raises right out of his stance. Kind of strange when you're looking right at the football. You don't move until it does. But those centers, they can flex their hands, move a finger or 2, and all of a sudden the guy's offside. So
hey, they're down to their 5th and 6th nose tackles, Trump. They sent a guy on the street with a bullhorn yelling for anybody who wanted to work. 2 guys off the street and playing well. Morris breaks it. 1st down. He's out to the 35-yard line. Kevin Ross ran him out. The field was littered with Chiefs who were knocked flat on blocks. 12-yard gain.
Good lead block by Maurice Carthon. Excellent. He gets that outside linebacker, and then Joe Morris really accelerates through the line of scrimmage. Face mask, Kansas City is going to add more yards onto it. The thing I like about this Giant offense is that it's straight ahead. They don't do a lot of trapping. They don't do a lot of pulling. It's just man on man. Let's see if it's intentional or inadvertent. Either 5 or 15 yards.
Face mask. 5-yard penalty against number 31 defense. Yardage makes it a 1st down.
Kevin Ross is the man that grabs a hold of the face mask. That's a nice run because Joe Morris can accelerate through that line of scrimmage. If the offensive line can get that first block, he is very difficult to stop.
3rd quarter, 3:58 to play in it. 14-9, Giants in the lead. Morris on 1st down, and he's across the 45-yard line out to the 47. Joe Morris, not one of the biggest Giants at 5'7", 195 pounds, but he's one of the strongest. An all-pro player in the Super Bowl year of '86. Came in with now has over 900 yards rushing this year, but his per carry average is way down. In the Super Bowl year, he was just over 4. This year, he's only 3.3.
Joe Morris has basically assembled a nice day here. 77 yards rushing, and he's done it in 2 quarters. The 1st and now the 3rd.
All those great runners from Syracuse, Jim Brown, Ernie Davis, Larry Zonka, Floyd Little, he eclipsed all their rushing records. Joe Morris did. That time, shooting the gap is a linebacker from Auburn, Chris Martin.
Now, Don, that was the same play they just ran for 12 yards. Maurice Carthon is assigned to Chris Martin, and this time Chris Martin jumps inside the block of Maurice Carthon. Watch 44. Martin comes into the picture inside. He's there to almost take the handoff. So that defensive adjustment made to shut that play down. Now Giants have to think about going outside that. Do the same thing. And you pitch it to Morris outside, but they're going with the pass here. 3 wide receivers.
Neil Smith, who missed 3 weeks in the game as a pass rusher. Second man down from the top on the right. Sims stands in. Gets some time. Dumps it off. And he's not quite there as he tries to get the ball to Stacy Robinson. Sims protesting something.
He was saying that J.C. Pearson had a hold of Stacy Robinson. But then on most incompletions, the quarterback is going to lobby. Watch J.C. Pearson.
Never touched him.
Never touched him. But as I said, when you throw an incompletion, quarterbacks do a lot of lobbying.
And once again, it didn't work, as now Buford's on the field to punt for the Giants. Ground ball. And in his wisdom, Kittrick Taylor stays away from it, and so the Chiefs will take over at their 25-yard line. 32-yard punt. On January 22nd, high stakes at the Senior Skins game. Then, as part of NFL Live's sensational Super Bowl pregame show, NBC presents the Talent Challenge, a fascinating competition displaying off-the-field talents of some of the most gifted players among the NFL's 2018. Then it's live from Joe Robbie Stadium, Super Bowl 23, here on NBC Sports. Steve DeBerg will probably represent Kansas City. He's a magician. And he worked magic there, threading 2 defenders to get the ball right to running back Herman Hurd for a 17-yard gain.
Giants now coming back with that. It's not a prevent defense, but watch these linebackers drop. 55 reasons. We're looking at zone here. And DeBerg with time to throw. Hurd just runs to the soft spot in the zone for a nice completion. Look at that play by Lawrence Taylor.
And by Eric Dorsey. They stuffed the rookie runner, James Saxon.
Unbelievable. Lawrence Taylor, when they fake the pass, Lawrence Taylor goes in like it's a pass rush, and then all of a sudden stops dead in his tracks, comes back inside, sees it's the draw, does not give James Saxon a chance to go outside. Dorsey makes the tackle. Sometimes the things he does are just inhuman.
2nd and 9, incomplete at the 40-yard line of the Giants as DeBerg's throw to Jonathan Hayes was low.
I think they're trying to get as many throws off as they possibly can with the wind here. Even though the flag is blowing at the top of the stadium in Kansas City's face on the floor of Giant Stadium, it's at their back.
3rd down and 9 arises. Devon Page comes wide to the left. Carlos Carson shut out so far. Wide right. Kittrick Taylor also in as a wide out. They've taken DeBerg out of the shotgun. The crowd has downfield throw, and it's tipped away from Carlos Carson. Nicely done by Adrian White, a 2nd-year safety from Florida. So DeBerg in the offense comes off for the Chiefs, and they'll punt the ball. Eric Howard put the pressure on the passer.
4-man rush that time by the New York Giants. The other 7 guys drop back in zone coverage.
Bill McConkey's back deep. The man who came to the Giants is a 27-year-old rookie. Big play by the D. Now on the run is Kelly Wood, and Goodburn is going to get the first down on a broken play.
Totally broken, not
absolutely
designed.
Smashed apart by the rush on the punt, but there was no containment, and Kelly Goodburn, who runs only in the most dire necessity, breaks it for 15 yards and a Chiefs first down.
Great pressure on him, and he changes his mind. Tom Flynn is the guy who flushed him out of the pocket, and then Goodburn with good foot speed knows what that first down marker is. McConkey knocks him out. Once again, you see from the outside, Flynn comes. He's right there to block it. And then the Kansas City Chiefs do a great job. They get a couple of blocks, and the punt returner, Bill McConkey, there to make the tackle. First down, Chiefs. Remember, 12 of their 14 games this year, Kansas City, been determined in the last drive.
And all 14 by a touchdown or less. Incomplete throw on first down.
Whoa, that was I got it, you take it. Jonathan Hayes and Carlos Carson were within about 2 yards of each other. Right there. They were right close together. Both let it go. Kansas City has had their chances today.
They have.
Great field position. They've had the ball on the plus side of the field a lot, but only have 3 field goals to show for it.
Working with the wind for 56 seconds more than the Giants have it in the fourth quarter. DeBerg on 2nd and 10 gets a lot of time. He throws a strike to the tight end Jonathan Hayes, breaks 1 tackle, breaks 2, breaks 3, and he's down to the 24-yard line. First down, Kansas City.
Coaches are motioning to the team to go right to the line of scrimmage. They want to keep this win at their back. That's a 16-yard pickup.
Game clock winding down and out in the third quarter. Chiefs now set it first down and 10. They trail 14-9. DeBerg to the end zone, and the ball is tipped. A terrific play by Pepper Johnson. A big, rangy linebacker from Ohio State. He's disappointed he didn't intercept. He was back 20 yards in pass coverage.
Carlos Carson was the intended receiver. This ball should not have been thrown. That ball went right through Pepper Johnson's hands, hit him on the face mask. And Kenny Hill almost had a chance on the rebound.
But no rough drafts or erasers when it's live. He couldn't bring it back. Almost very nearly intercepted. 15 seconds to play in the third quarter, and that's all the longer that Lowry, the kicker, would have the wind at his back. They'll try to strike and get it closer. They might go to the end zone now. George Martin, who's playing his last home game as a Giant, even though he'll be here as a visiting member of the Giants against the Jets next week. Man has been their drug counselor, their chaplain, their player rep, and called by Parcells one of the most important players in the history of the franchise, not only for what he's done on the field, but also off.
Doesn't get an awful lot of penetration, but when he spins around, then he just gets his hand up. And Steve Berg, very unlucky in that situation, throws it right into George Martin's hand. Third down and 10 now.
Tenth play of the drive coming out. Third down and 10. Here comes Taylor. He misses him. A dump off goes to Palmer. He's caught and thrown back by Sheldon White. The gain just 1 yard.
And they get the timeout before they have to work into the wind.
So Nick Lowry will come out now with 3 seconds left. The wind at his back, looking to bring the Chiefs to within 2 if he hits this field goal.
Baylor again, good pressure from the outside on Alt. Also pressure from Eric Howard, 74, and on the ground. He calls timeout. 3 ticks left. Well, Nick Lowry warming his leg up as best he possibly can. Going to take a practice kick from the sideline as his team is going to the line of scrimmage. Runs onto the field.
He's the second most accurate kicker, as you know, Trump, in NFL history. Morton Anderson of the Saints is the most accurate.
He's got plenty of time. There's no hurry. 23 seconds on the 30-second clock.
He did not first succeed, but tried again. 18's cut Nick Lowry. He could decide this game today before it's over. Spins one up, spins one through. Swings that leg, and you can put it in the book as the concluding play of the third quarter is another good field goal by Nick Lowry, and it's a 14-12 game Giants. Giant lead now cut down to 14-12. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy in that last drive on a play where everything went wrong for Kansas City. In the end, it all went right when Goodburn broke free. His punt almost blocked. He held the ball, ran for 15 yards, And Lowry subsequently hits the field goal. Now the kickoff return. Guggemos breaks it for the Giants. He's up the middle and across the 40 and out to the 43-yard line. Angelo Snipes got him.
Nick Lowry now 27 of 30 on the season. Time of possession clearly in favor of the Kansas City Chiefs. And the rushing yards for the New York Giants, that has been their problem, their nemesis all 1988.
Sims was throwing into the wind. Let's see if he can hit his receivers. He's with the wind at his back. He's not had a great day, but he has had one when the Giants have been in the plus zone and ready to score. He's hit Favaro twice for the Giant touchdowns. Joe Morris running hard. Piston drive in those short legs. Joe wants it again.
An absolutely tireless running back.
He had a rather embarrassing moment, Trump. 2 weeks ago, there was a Giant Wives conducted an auction. One of the things auctioned off for a children's charity was an oil painting of Joe Morris, and his wife got up and said, "This is a picture of my husband, Joe Morris, who used to be a great running back before he learned to fumble."
Whoa.
Joe says, "Not only the coaches that have been on me, now my wife is." He went out the next day and had his best, the next week and had his best game of the season, 122 yards against Phoenix. Throwing a catch down to the 37-yard line. Angelo Snipes back in coverage, but Stephen Baker makes the play for a 15-yard gain.
Nice crossing pattern run by Stephen Baker.
He's got that burst to adjust to the ball in flight.
Morris runs the underneath spot, and then Baker comes in behind him. J.C. Pearson, 24, the man behind him. Del Rio in front. 52 Snipes makes the tackle.
I asked Baker who gave him the name the touchdown maker. He said, "I did." Called himself that.
Fumble.
Free ball, and the Giants have it at the 30-yard line.
What did Mrs. Morris say? Carthon recovers. Oh, Ard is hurt. Billy Ard is on the ground.
This guy's been some player for the Giants since coming out of Wake Forest as a 5th-round draft choice.
Ard is the man pulling. Joe Morris is going to be running right behind him. Oh, you can see Joe Morris runs right into his leg. Pins that thing outside. Carthon with the recovery. Watch his left leg. His right leg, excuse me. When it sets, that's when Joe Morris hits it with all of his weight going forward. Carthon recovers it. This offensive line already banged up. They've got 3 young men, 2 rookies, and 1 second-year man in there.
That's good to see. He wears those huge protective braces. Ard's dad had been a Giant season ticket holder for over 20 years. And when he came out, as Giant fans are aware, in the draft, every time it was the Giants' turn to pick, somebody held up a card in the stands. The draft headquarters, "Pick Ard the guard." They finally picked him in the 5th round.
He can definitely play guard, too.
Houston laying waste to those Bengals, Trump. You're going to have to go back there and check out Coach Weich.
They're all right. They're in the playoffs. Play Washington next week. Oh, Washington back to tie Dallas now.
On 2nd down and 3, Joe Morris runs the ball down close to the 27-yard line. Very close to a 1st down.
Trying to see what they've done with the offensive line now of the New York Giants. Who's in there to do what? They're bringing in the heavy duties now, the Rhino offense. Looks like William Roberts is in there. Riesenberg, I think, has moved to left guard.
Just been told that Big Bill Roberts, number 66 there, is tackle eligible on 3rd and 1. He's block eligible too, and he just flattened the defensive end as Otis Anderson runs for the Giant 1st down.
Simple sweep run by the New York Giants. Here's Roberts playing tight end. He just overpowers 94 Troy Steadman, and all of a sudden O.J. Anderson is in the defensive backfield. Nice pickup. A game-winning drive here. They can salt this game away, I believe, with a score here.
Giants lead by just 2 points. A lot of time left. 12:20 to play. Morris. Boy, that blocking was there. Big pop by number 60, the rookie #1 draft choice, Eric Moore. And the guard is right back on the field after being shaken up. 6-yard gain on the run from.
They had Carl Nelson move to right tackle. Riesenberg move into left guard. This is a nice job done by the offensive line. The center's got a good shot on the nose tackle, stands him up. Nice pickup, Joe Morris. Ooh.
Joe Morris, again, with that great ability to accelerate, cuts back and gets inside the 10-yard line with 11:35 to play.
That almost looked like a hockey stop. Watch what he does as he's coming to the hole. You can see he puts both feet down. Hockey stop outside. And he picks up a first down. Cofield and Pearson on the tackle.
First and goal, Giants. Their lead just 2 points. Back to the money, and Joe Morris takes it down to the 5-yard line. Jack Del Rio, a big 6'4", 245-pound linebacker from Southern California, was on the stop along with the ex-Giant Jerome Salley.
You can still see 67 Billy Yard limping a little bit, playing that left guard.
Jack Del Rio is a major league prospect as a baseball catcher.
You realize that he was rated higher than Dwayne Bickett coming out of the draft. They both played on the same team. Bickett of Indianapolis has gotten more press.
First team All-Pro, Dwayne Bickett. Second and goal. Draw. Morris down to the 2. Angelo Snipes, who's made a ton of tackles today for Kansas City, was on that stop. Number 52.
That time Jerome Salley got parked. Bart Oates really drove him off the line of scrimmage. That's why those linebackers had to get there to make the tackle.
This Bart Oates can play center.
Watch. You can see it right in front of you. See it's a double team, and then Oates really parks him. When that nose tackle stands up, Don, he's looking for the football, and when he stands up, that's when the offensive linemen have a real advantage. That's the second week in a row now. Joe Morris, 100 yards.
And Bavaro strong to the left as the tight ends are aligned, 2 of them, and they go to the run. Here is Otis Anderson. He's going in. It's a touchdown for the Giants. Otis Anderson, his 8th touchdown of the season. Had 3 last week.
Nice sweep play run by the New York Giants. Carthen with the lead block. You see a nice pull by number 60, Eric Moore. Gets down at a defensive lineman's legs, and there's nobody there to make the tackle.
McFadden drives the extra point up and through, and the Giants challenge now come back to score and extend their lead to 21-12. Harry Carson announcing his retirement today.
But he'll be activated for the playoffs.
Yeah.
He's not done playing for the New York Giants in 1988.
Today's game is brought to you by New Michelob Dry. One taste and you'll drink it dry. By Mazda Cars and Trucks, including the all-new Mazda MPV. And by Levi's 505 and 506 jeans.
McFadden kicks off after hitting the extra point. It carries into the end zone where Palmer watches it go out for the touchback. So the Chiefs take over, Trumpy, with the long field to go.
Hey, we're looking for good things out of young guys. Here's Eric Moore. He comes on the pull. The lead block by Carthan. And you can see O.J. Anderson has got a nice little path to the end zone. And Moore's got the big block on Pearson. Aaron Pearson gets right down at his knees. That's all the gap you need. O.J. Anderson last week with 3 touchdowns. Easily into the end zone.
9:31 to play in the game. The playoff temperament of this crowd right now. And the bitter cold The champ picks up. Here's the pitch back. Herman Hurd runs, and the Giants get him at the 21-yard line. No gain. Carl Banks makes the play, 58. Let's check the scoring drive.
From behind, he runs it down. 10 plays, 5 minutes and 22 seconds.
NBC chief statistician Joe Costanza totaling the arithmetic furiously. Chiefs need a big hit now. 2nd down and 9. Carson, they haven't gotten the ball to him. They've been close. He's ever dangerous at the lower portion of the screen. Looking at Carson now. He goes up the middle, and it's tapped away from Jonathan Hayes.
Great play.
Gary Reasons has made a lot of standout plays today, Trump.
Great play. Reasons gets his hand right in there. That's a completion. It was intended for the tight end. Now watch Reasons. He's 55, drops back. He sees Hayes run the pattern in front of him, plants his foot. Whoa. Puts his head in there at the opportune time to knock it away.
Big down for the Chiefs. There's a lot on this one. 3rd down and 9. They trail the Giants 21-12. DeBerg fires to Palmer. A great open field runner, but he cannot elude the tackler. As up to make the play is Tom Flynn, a former All-American safety for Pittsburgh.
Palmer, the running back, is more of a receiver than he is a running back. He just runs A and B circle here. He's looking at the defense. It's zone. He hooks up. And he's supposed to break this first tackle, but Flynn does a great job to get him on the ground and keeps him from getting that first down yardage.
Remember the last time Goodburn stood in there to punt. The rush came hard. He escaped it and ran for 15 yards and a first down, as the Chiefs ended up hitting a field goal on the drive. Wynn holds up the punt. McConkey, an experienced Wynn player in the stadium, runs it down. Catches the ball at the 48. Just a 23-yard punt. So it's uphill for Kansas City at this point. With the wind facing them, they're down 21-12. There was an emotional start to today's game when Harry Carson and George Martin, both retiring Giants, were introduced before the start of the game. It was the final home game for these two players who've meant so much. They were here through all the lean years and then went to the Super Bowl in '86 and helped win it. And now Joe Morris breaks to the head. He's inside the 40 and down to the 39-yard line. Leonard Griffin made the stop, but he did it 12 yards downfield. Harry Carson on the left, 9 times a Pro Bowl player, tied the NFL record.
Kind of nice. They were the only two players introduced today.
You really can't put into words what George Martin on the right has meant to this franchise. He has been a stabilizer, a leader. I'm quite certain they won't let him get away from this organization if they can help it.
It's encouraged an awful lot of New York Giants to go back and get more education.
Got guys going back to school. Those that didn't have degrees are getting them. Harry Carson's getting a master's in business. Joe Morris with a good move on first down and manages to get 3 yards when he was caught behind the line. 6:56 to play. The Bengals, good as they are, Trump, have now lost 4 straight road games. Detroit leading Chicago by 2. Green Bay with a major upset over the Vikings. Buffalo continues to lay waste to the Raiders. Dallas standing tall with Washington, and Tampa Bay has tied up New England in the 4th quarter. Joe Morris busts it down to the 30-yard line. That 2nd down and 8 carry was good for a gain of about 6. Kevin Ross made the tackle. Leading the blocking on the play for the Giants was Zeke Moad, number 84.
Nice little delay handoff to Joe Morris. You make that defense just hesitate ever so slightly. Morris on the day, 29 carries, 121 yards. At the outset of this game, I wondered about the running attack of the New York Giants. If they can go a long way in the playoffs by winning today and winning next week against the Jets, their NFC East champion, playing in this stadium, a running game like they had today, yeah, they can go a long way.
3rd down and 1. Anderson, first down Giants. I'll tell you one thing, though, Trump, when they hook up with the Jets, they're going to be in a street fight next week. The Jets aren't going to any playoff. That 3rd playoff game.
Yeah, the Giants basically changed the side of the field. You can see the lead block by Carthon. O.J. Anderson again carrying the ball right behind Riesenberg. Carthon gets stood up, but O.J. Anderson gets the much-needed yardage. Joe Morris back in the ball game. Bill Parcells, I believe, has set his entire football team to stop the run and run the ball, because you're controlling the line of scrimmage both offensively and defensively when you can do those two things.
First and 10 Giants. They lead 21-12. Back to the run as they continue to run the clock. Joe Morris fighting Jack Del Rio. Gain on the play of 3 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Joe Morris sat out the 2nd quarter.
We don't know why, but he was obviously fine.
He should have been fine when he's been in there. .4:30 to play. The Giants run the clock.
He's getting very, very close to a 1,000-yard rushing season. Came in with 846.
Blitz, Giants pick it up. Go to Morris. Dances to the outside. Joe Morris cutting back. He's down to the 8-yard line. Deron Cherry saved a touchdown as Maurice Carthon, that big fullback, literally blasted open the corner of the Chiefs defense to free Joe Morris.
Watch 44, Maurice Carthon. There's the block. He gets 2 of them. Pearson gets caught up in it. 16 yards on the carry. Morris is now very close to 1,000 yards rushing for the season.
Anderson, who knows where that end zone is with 8 touchdowns this season, 1 today, is knocked down by his former teammate Jerome Salley with 3:10 to go.
You know, Don, the one thing the Giants have done and done well today is when they needed the drive, they've been able to get the drive. Run the ball a great deal with Joe Morris. We've got a Chief player down, Jack Del Rio, slow getting up.
Morris Trump with 140 yards rushing. He has more than the Chiefs.
Chiefs just 107. Durable little guy, too. Several years ago, I remember the strength coach of the Giants telling me,
Johnny Parker on the right.
He said, I'm not talking pound for pound. Joe Morris may be the smallest guy on this team in stature. He is its strongest player. Not pound for pound. He is its strongest player.
You ask those Giants about who means a lot to this franchise. Johnny Parker's one of them. They got guys rehabbing at 5 a.m. He's here with them.
Speaking of rehabbing, Kansas City Chiefs got them rehabbing all over the place. They got injuries. 43 roster moves they made coming into this game. 8 surgeries. Moss, Dino Hackett, both had knee scopes. 5 nose tackles that played this season for the Chiefs.
Second down from the 6-yard line. 2nd and goal for the Giants. Carthon, touchdown Giants. So Maurice Carthon, that went almost 5 years without scoring a touchdown for the Giants, now has one each of the last 2 weeks.
Well, he's very smart, too. You know, he's not spiking that ball. He's taking it home with it.
Right.
Taking no chances. Going to put this on the mantle. This is the old crossbuck. They give it to the up guy and fake the pitch. You see Deron Cherry, 20, just frozen in his stance. They weren't expecting Carthon to get it. He does for the score.
McFadden powers through the extra point as the Giants go 51 yards in 8 plays, using 5:24. And they extend their lead now to 27-12. Say that right foot of McFadden's. I don't know what he does for it after the game. Maybe he doesn't wear any shoes as he goes home.
No. I would think that he
both feet.
Sticks it in the fire.
This is not Pago. Kid of Denver, Carlos walks around in the snow in his bare foot. They might not be well men. They can kick.
None of them are.
Kick comes downfield. It is taken by Palmer. Kenny Gamble leads the blocking as Palmer gets out to the 25-yard line. And there the Chiefs will have to start firing deep. Now back to NFL Live. Here's Bob Costas. Bob?
Don, with 4 seconds to play at Soldier Field, a 32-yard field goal by Kevin Butler gives the Bears a 13-12 win over the Lions. The Lions had the point after blocked following one of their touchdowns. Otherwise, the game would be in overtime. Meanwhile, at Green Bay, the Packers lead Minnesota 18-6. If that holds up, then Chicago has clinched the division in the NFC Central and home field advantage throughout the playoffs.
That'll be tough. The wind at Soldier Field in January. Joe Morris had 40 to 51 yards in that last Giant drive running the ball. Here's a throw and a catch. Saxon takes the ball on first down and gets ahead for 8. The Giants hold him inbounds as the Chiefs quickly go into alignment without a huddle. After they challenged the Giants and moved to within 2 points, 14-12, the Giants then drove the ball for 2 touchdowns to put the game away. So the Giants will go to the final game of the season with a 1-game lead in the NFC East. There are Tribals, the Jets, to meet them next. Coach Parcells is cold but well pleased. This is Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy back at Giant Stadium, where the Giants have sent most of this sold-out stadium home happy and early as they erupted in the 4th quarter to put the game away. 28-12 they lead now. Kansas City with 2nd down coming up. 2 minutes to play. 2nd and 1. Throw and a catch. Jackson is caught and held inbounds as he gets to the 41-yard line. Chiefs still playing every down as hard as they can, Trump.
At least they're not taking the timeouts. There's no use to prolong the agony here. They have played hard today. For a while, their defense kept pace with the offense of the Giants.
Berg dumps it off, and a drop ball by Palmer.
Took his eye off of it. Sheldon White, the man in coverage, and Palmer was looking upfield before he caught the football.
.91 ticks left. Joe Morris with 140 yards rushing for Parcells' Giant team. Sabah with 2 catches for 36 yards and 2 touchdowns. Super Bowl in the National Conference looks like it's going to go through Chicago. The Bears secured home field today. Here's a big rush and a hit. Lawrence Taylor ripping through. These guys beating John Alt, a very good tackle.
3rd sack of the day, 2 by Lawrence Taylor.
15.5 for the season for LT.
Taylor's just too quick on the outside. He runs around, blocks, and see he does it again.
Jackson on 3rd down and 18. He doesn't get much as the game clock winds down close to a minute to play. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Michael Weissman. The coordinating producer of NFL football, Ted Nathanson. The producer of today's game, Terry Ewert. The director, Richard Klein. As the Chiefs call timeout as they're roundly booed by the Giant fans. 1 minute to go, but in truth, it's over. Professor Trump is going to pass out his grades now as we look at the report card.
Well, the wind really ate up to Berg, as the wind in this stadium generally does. Visiting quarterbacks Lowry, 4 of 5 on the day. The 51-yarder ties an NFL record. 17 50-yard plus field goals in a career ties with John Senator. So he's done his job. But
Jackson running in the open field.
Get out of bounds.
They rule him out at midfield with 50 seconds to play. 12-yard gain on the play.
Clock is stopped. Marcel's better watch out. Last week, Harry Carson unveiled the Gatorade bucket. Oh, man. There it is. The fabled Gatorade bucket. That was not enough for the first down, so the offense comes back on the field. I think the key there, 31 carries, 140 yards rushing by Joe Morris. Bill Sims' numbers not spectacular. The 2 touchdown throws to Mark Bavaro. They need that running game here in Giant Stadium.
And that'll do it. I'd like to thank our NBC chief statistician Joe Costanza, spotter Tom Criqui, and Galen, helping in the booth Jim McLaughlin and Ram Zitkowski. Now it's time for the Most Valuable Player Award, sponsored by Budweiser. Today's MVP is Jolton Joe Morris of the New York Giants, who rushed for 140 yards. Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all the MVPs selected in today's games.
Where's the Gatorade bucket?
I think they like the coach too much to do that to him today.
Wait a minute, 86.
I guess they did get him in that Redskin game.
Absolutely. No Gatorade bucket.
So the good old days are back at Giant Stadium as this team looks like the real thing, heading down the stretch and into the playoffs. They can get there with a win next week. Parcells and Gans exchange handshakes as the Giants now go to 10-5 with 1 to go against their arch rivals, the Jets, who they don't play often, but it is spirited when they do. They meet every year in the preseason, not that often in the regular season. The Giants, a 28-12 winner today, 1 victory away from winning the NFC East. Bill Sims threw for 2 touchdowns, and then the Giants geared up the running game and put it away. They got him with a cup of Gatorade.
Come on, Harry.
Cup.
Do it with the bucket or don't do it, kid.
We'll be back to Giant Stadium in a moment.
At Giant Stadium, the Giants hold off the pesky Chiefs 28-12. 2 touchdown passes from Sims to Bavaro. This is the second one, 24-yarder in the third quarter. The Giants go to 10-5 and can wrap up the NFC East if they beat the Jets next week. This is the Budweiser NFL Report, brought to you by Budweiser, Beechwood aged, for that clean, crisp taste. This Buzz for you. Hi again, everybody. Bob Costas along with Paul McGuire at our NFL Live studios in New York. Here's what's happening elsewhere. Houston has maintained their dominance all day long over the Cincinnati Bengals. They now lead in the waning moments of the fourth quarter, 41-6 at the House of Pain, and that is what it has been for Cincinnati, and a house of good cheer for the Oilers and all their fans. Big day for Mike Rozier, 121 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. This was the first one, a 13-yarder, bowling people over in the process in the first quarter, and they go up 7-0. They led 14-3 late in the second